Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's Friday. How you feel about that? Good mood, huh? Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Hope things are going well for you today and that our broadcast will bring you much joy. It certainly does for me on Friday because it's Family Friday, which means that the lovely Stephanie Peterson is joining us in studio. Good morning, Steffi P.
Hello, good morning.
Nice to see you here today. You're awake. Yeah, barely. This week has been a slow one for us, getting up at 4:30 a.m. every day.
I'm trying to figure out why. I think it's because it's staying light so late in the evening. Like we're approaching, what is it, June 20th? Mm-hmm. That's like the lightest day of the year. It stays lightest, the longest. And, it's just thrown off my sleep schedule.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough this week. How about yours? How's your week been? We'd love to hear from you today. You can text the show anytime, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Steffi, it looks like the battery is, I've got to plug in the computer. The computer's not plugged in or something like that. I will handle it. We're just going to very briefly go to a standby screen. We'll be right back. Hold on. And we're back.
Yay!
It is such a struggle to get this show up every single day. I'll tell you that. Tell you what.
Sit here and look pretty while you work really hard.
One of these days, I'm like sweating right now because there's like so many things that have to get done before this thing can get going.
Get some CBD.
I know what it is. I know today's the day. Actually, I'm gonna take a half of a Delta 8.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
No. I think I'm gonna do half of a Delta 8 gummy this morning.
Oh boy, I'm scared.
Yeah, no, don't be scared.
I have to be the chaperone. I have to get you home safely.
Yeah. Yes, you're gonna be the chaperone today. It looks like the YouTube stream is back up after going down. I have no idea.
Oh, it went down and went back up?
It went down and came back up, so we're...
Got back down. Then I get up again.
Yeah, John.
You're never gonna keep me down.
Yeah, it's Monday.
I'm getting knocked down.
We might as well just go ahead and do the live read for our buddy John Burke, Shell Shock CBD.
Sure.
I've been having such terrible back pain this week. This has been such a challenging week. This is actually going to be kind of fun, Steffi, so we're going to see what happens.
I mean... it'll be really fun for you. I'm a little nervous for me. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Like if I start like picking up chairs and throwing things like King Kong.
Yeah.
And different stuff like that. So I'll tell you what, I'm only gonna take half of.
Oh my God, it's huge. Is that the whole thing?
No, these are two stuck together, but they are delicious. It's green apples. Smells really good. This is from shellshockcbd.com. So by the end of this show, I don't know what state I'm gonna be in, but anyway. So all right, here we go.
It takes about what, 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Here we go. Oh boy.
All right.
We'll do CBD assisted therapy today.
There we go. CBD assisted Delta 8. You know what that is.
Delta 8 assisted therapy.
And you can get your Shell Shock CBD Delta 8 at shellshockcbd.com. Use that code AP4Liberty. That's AP, the number 4, AP4Liberty to get your own right there. So it should be fun. I need like some kind of like hippie music or something, in the background.
Don't worry. Be happy.
That's more reggae. Reggae's good though. Reggae's good. Yeah. Something like, what's a good reggae song that we could do? I don't know. Anyways. Matis Yahoo. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. The King Without a Crown. Boy, oy, oy, oy. Boy, oy, oy, oy. I'm not sure. I know a lot of Bob Marley songs, but now I'm on but now I'm putting on the spot, so I can't remember them all. It's the Delta 8. I can't forget. I'm forgetting.
Soon you will be singing all the songs.
I'll be singing all the songs.
That's right.
Good morning, Sarah Palacios. Good morning, friends. Welcome to the Cantina crew. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that like button. Glad to have you here today. We've got a lot to talk about. Donald Trump is indicted. Tramp indicted. Oh my God. Donald Trump is indicted, and God, I really hate life because it's so annoying to have to listen to everyone screaming and crying about it.
Boy.
Donald Trump indicted on 7 criminal charges in the classified documents case. This is in connection to his retention of classified documents in his Mar-a-Lago home.
Porn star. Okay.
No, this is not the charges that he paid off a porn star for the election. That's the New York case. He's going to have to go to Miami for this case.
Miami.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There's worse places. Yeah, there's worse places to be arrested. But he's set to appear in court in Miami on Tuesday, And of course, he is a Republican candidate for president of the United States. Aren't we all having fun? Good morning, Miss Fucknuts. Nice to see you here today. Justin Peterson joining us here. Good morning, Justin. Family Friday. Dan Snuff says, I think Steph may have better taste in music than AP. No. We actually like a lot of the same music. I just like more music than you do.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I have very eclectic musical
because
taste.
all of the music that you like, I like too. But then I also like lots of music that you don't like.
Country. I do like country. Thank you.
Exactly.
Again, music taste.
Okay, here's the thing. No. I like country, anything that was made 1970 and before. Anything 1970 before. I can't stand like the new country stuff like that. I can't stand
Taylor Swift country music.
I would say maybe Garth Brooks was kind of like the last gasp of country for me. Where
like Willie Nelson.
Yeah, I like Willie Nelson. I like I'm drowning in a whiskey river, all that good stuff. And Patsy Cline, for God's sakes, I was raised on Patsy Cline. My brother was always singing Patsy Cline songs. Yeah. So old country, good. Hank Williams, like all that stuff.
All that stuff.
I like bluegrass, right? All that stuff. You like bluegrass?
Bluegrass. Yeah. Bluegrass band
at our wedding and at the campaign kickoff party. So
it was the same exact band.
Old country good, new country garbage, says Camellia Peterson. Yes, exactly. Camellia knows what's up.
I know. I mean, I live in Missouri, and we have a plethora of country music stations, so I'm very
Johnny
thankful.
Cash is good. Johnny Cash is the best, says John Rail. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm glad that we're talking about music instead of the Trump indictment right now, because God, I'm so sick of hearing about it every single day. And it's not, do I think that Donald Trump is guilty? Probably not. It's probably it's probably a criminal conspiracy against him, to be honest.
But he has the papers at his house, so isn't that a crime in itself?
If he did not declassify them. So he claims that he declassified them before he brought them. So
how do you declassify a piece of paper?
There's the Presidential Records Act. So there's a law that gives the president the authority to classify and declassify documents. So if he declassified them as he said, then he's fine and he's innocent and he'll get out. But I mean, I just hate hearing the Trump haters all dunking as if they're like, oh, we've got him this time, and then I hear the Trump lovers who are like, brother. Oh, like they can't stop.
Starting to raise money for him because of these indictments.
Like, raise money for a billionaire.
Where's the money going? He has enough money.
I thought didn't he raise a bunch of money for those trading cards that he issued and released lately? Didn't you see these trading cards?
I really don't follow Trump on it. God, I don't know.
You are lucky that you don't, because I have to every single day. It's so annoying to have to listen to him.
So he traded cards?
He did trading cards.
Oh,
like cards. Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like Pokemon cards. He created. No.
Oh. He plays like Pokemon Go in the park? Like, what's going on here?
Pokemon Go to the polls.
You find Trump, he's like playing Pokemon Go.
No. He created trading cards. Donald Trump trading cards.
Dear Lord.
Yes, and he sold them. So he made a lot of money on those. So
with his face on them?
Exactly. Yeah, his face on him, and he's looking like a superhero. I think most of them were like AI generated, I think.
My Beanie Babies are worth more than those trading cards.
No, they're not. Actually, those trading cards are worth a lot of money. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. I always look forward to Family Friday with my lovely wife, Stephanie, because we always have a lot of fun on the show today. So it's not all going to be politics and Donald Trump indicted and people can, Pokemon go to the polls and all this stuff. It's going to be, we've got some interesting topics. Like we saw this video, this black Karen chasing this little woman down the street, screaming at her about gentrification, calling her a hoe and a bitch and all this kind of stuff.
Yes, we did. Very troubling.
A very troubling video. We'll talk. I've got the video clip. We're going to play it. Pete Davidson screaming at Peta, the people for the ethical treatment of animals.
And I'm an ex-vegetarian.
So were you a Peta fan at one point? Were you like in favor of like Peta? Or did you ever support them?
No, because when I used to go to the Warp Tour, they would always be passing out these DVDs and they'd be like, here's a music DVD. Go watch it. Mm-hmm. And I put it in my computer and it's like, people slaughtering animals to rock music. And I'm like, what is this?
Justin Peterson's cackling. Pokemon go to the polls. I'm dead. Matt Unruh says, I might be late to this, but I enjoy classic country and bluegrass, but I also enjoy stuff like Eric Church. Good morning, Matt. Aaron on the live stream says, if you don't want to be the victim of a witch hunt, don't wear a pointy hat while riding a broom. When you know they're out to get you, why put yourself in that position? That's very funny.
Exactly.
Very funny. The Onion Dip and Blue Trike joining us over on Rumble this morning. Good morning to all of our Rumblers. Glad to have you all over here today.
I was chatting a bit on Rumble this week.
Yeah, I know.
Making friends.
Yeah, for sure. We're also we're also streaming live on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, Twitch, YouTube.
Wow, we're on the big screen.
We're on big screens.
Hello,
we're on little screens. We're all over the place. So yeah,
that's so exciting.
Honestly, I would be. Can we do a really quick audience poll? Would you mind? If you wouldn't mind, just would you share with us how you like to watch or listen to the Wake Up America show? If you wouldn't mind, just dropping in the chat a comment with how you like to watch the show. Typically,
like on which app?
Well, not which app, but I mean, well, no, because we know what app because they'll comment on that app. But we want to know how do you watch us? Do you watch us on your mobile device? Do you watch us on a laptop? Do you watch us on your TV? I'd be really curious to hear from you. So
I think Jamie Marie Pope watches us on her television because she told us once that she had us on the big screen and the colors that she saw.
Yeah, well, okay, so we'll move on from that. But I just like to know how people like to watch the Wake Up America show. It's a nice to help us out. Well, Donald Trump's indicted. We do have his response to the indictment. Here's what he had to say.
Very sadly, we're a nation in decline, and yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country.
Really?
By far.
No.
And did much better the second time in the election.
You're cracking me up. Really? No.
He didn't win. Oh, well, he won that one time.
Well, you could, in theory, win the popular vote but lose the general.
That's true.
But but the thing is that Trump thinks that he won the last election, which he shouldn't.
The Electoral College.
No,
right? He lost it because of the Electoral College.
Is that what he's saying? He lost both. He lost the popular vote and he lost the Electoral College. But
yet he had the most votes out of any president. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, he did not.
All right.
Joe Biden got the most votes of any president in the United States. Like, if you're a Trump supporter listening to this show right now, you are not going to be happy. But listen, it's not that we necessarily have anything against Trump. We just call out everybody's bullshit. You know, that's just the Wake Up America show is a show that tells people things that you might not like to hear, and sometimes they hurt, and sometimes people's little buttholes get really tight about this stuff. But the fact is that Donald Trump did not win the last election. Here's the problem: if you're a Trump supporter and you think he won the last election, you need to not say that because if that's true, then he constitutionally is ineligible to run for president of the United States again, because the Constitution says that you cannot stand for election 3 times.
2 times.
You can only stand for election twice, right, for president of the United States. So,
that's true.
Right. And people who are like, well, he didn't serve. It doesn't matter. It doesn't say serve as president twice. It says you cannot be elected more than twice. So if you
really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't say that he won the election last time if you think because the liberals, all they have to do is just turn around and say, oh, you know what? Donald Trump did win the last election and therefore he's constitutionally ineligible, right? So anyways.
Gotcha.
You can tell I'm annoyed. I just am sick of hearing about it. You know, it's just and the thing is that he's not nearly as annoying as the people who are his supporters who are out there every single day bullying and harassing people who aren't 150% on board with absolutely everything he says, even when he changes his mind on things one day from another. So like, for example, in Florida, Ron DeSantis is fighting Walt Disney, which a lot of Republicans probably support. Yes. Donald Trump is taking Disney's side against him.
Oh, okay.
Donald Trump is also like calling out Ron DeSantis for supporting cuts to Medicare and Social Security. So Donald Trump is running to the left of Ron DeSantis on fiscal conservative issues.
Don't we want to cut those things?
Yes, we do want to cut those kinds of things. We want to reduce the size of those programs because they're massive entitlements that are putting us $250 trillion in debt and unfunded liabilities. Yeah. So anyways, again, painful things that like Trump supporters who like, and the thing is like, if you don't support that, then you don't support Donald Trump. And then you'll see, like, I saw yesterday, so annoying. There's this guy that I used to know in New York, in DC. His name's Nick, something like that. He's
Nick
like
Fuentes?
No, he's an Australian guy who's just like, you know, rah rah wave the flag, super Trump supporter. And he's like, if you don't support Trump, you don't support America. And it's like, what's wrong with you, dude? So annoying.
He's just a person.
Yeah, he's a politician. Like, for God's sake.
He's not a god.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, what are you doing simping for a politician? Like, you know, call them out when they're wrong, you know, support them when they're right. And otherwise, like, get a life, people, for the love of God.
Exactly.
Get a life. Anyways, let's hear what Donald Trump has to say. Continue here.
The first, and they go after him on a boxer's hoax, just like the Russia hoax and all of the others. It's been going on for 7 years. They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. They had the Mueller hoax, the Mueller report, and that came out. No collusion after 2.5 years.
That's true.
That was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, it would be a lot better for our country. They could do a lot better. They could do a lot of great things. But when you look at what's happened to our country in the last 3 years, we were energy independent. We had a strong military that wasn't woke. We were doing so well. We were respected all over the world.
He's right. You know, we had we had the strongest economy in the country under Donald Trump. I would argue that, like, it's, you know, the president only really has so much power over things like that. It's mostly us, the people. You know, these libertarians say that. Bert Crash, he's not liking it this morning when I'm saying. He's saying, what about DeSantis disguising AI picture stunt with Trump and Fauci? I mean, who cares?
Wait, he disguised AI photos?
Well, so here's the thing. Donald Trump hired Anthony Fauci. Like, yes. And so DeSantis did this like attack out on Trump where he showed him like hugging Anthony Fauci or something like that. And it was like AI or whatever. But like Trump people are like so offended by this. It's like, nobody gives a shit. Like, who cares? Like, here's the thing.
To DeSantis for his announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
Hitler and
exactly.
On a fake call.
Exactly. Like, Trump supporters, they just, like, you know, if they, without double standards, the Trump supporters would have no standards, right? So it's just like, you know, again, I understand if you like the guy and all that stuff, but I mean, when it comes like AI pictures of him hugging Anthony Fauci, here's the thing. That's the reality. He hired Anthony Fauci, kept him on board, had a chance to fire him
before.
Yeah, brought him on board, thought he was brilliant, you know, pushed the vax, was for Operation Warp Speed and all this stuff. And it's like, so so we're supposed to be offended that he made a video of him like hugging Anthony Fauci. I think that's actually really smart, to be honest. I don't care that he did something like that with AI. And most people who are trying to put bread on their table or don't give a shit either, right? They don't care. They don't care. We don't care. Speaking of the guy who's famous for the meme, we don't care. Honestly, I agree with Stephen A. Smith and dropping these red pills. Take a listen to this clip.
Biden wasn't that popular of a candidate, at least before the primaries in South Carolina. Biden wasn't that popular of a candidate, at least before the primaries in South Carolina. You know, up until that point, he wasn't even in the game as far as a lot of people were concerned. And so because of that, when you look at it from that perspective, Chris, what it comes down to is you're going to have people sitting up there on his side and saying they can't beat him legitimately, and it's going to add it's going to add momentum to his argument that they're exhausting themselves with doing everything they can to prevent him from being the Republican nominee because they can't beat him. That's what.
Well, that's not true necessarily, right? Because because they did beat him last time, right? Actually, you know, the election was stolen in 2016 too, and Donald Trump didn't win in 2016.
You really won.
It was me. The election was stolen from me.
The actual winner, right here.
The election was stolen from me. Gary Johnson stole the nomination from me, and then Donald Trump stole the election from me, because I would have won the presidential election, right?
Yeah, breaking news.
Breaking news.
Yes.
2016 election stolen twice. 3 times.
Yes.
First, it was stolen from me in the LP nomination. Then it was stolen from me in the general election. But then Hillary Clinton stole it from Donald Trump, and then he stole it from me.
And you got the most votes than any sitting president ever. I actually
received the most votes of any presidential candidate in American history.
That's right. Wow.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. As long as we're making shit up.
Yes.
Exactly. Bert Crash says, claiming they were real and not a joke, though. Come on, you got to talk about all of them, not the one you just don't like. No.
Okay, so he posted this AI photo and claimed it was real.
I didn't see that. Bert, would you mind posting it like that? Because I didn't see them say that it was real or anything like that. But I mean, like,
I mean, if you're really, what is that? Deep fake?
Yeah, deep fake. Yeah.
So that's not cool.
All's fair in love and war, man. This is politics. This is. I mean, Donald. You think Donald Trump? Here's the thing. Donald Trump absolutely would have done something like that, and he's probably just mad that he didn't think of it first. You know, he
probably think that Spaces call that he orchestrated was real.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, I haven't picked a candidate at this point. I don't know who I'm going to support. I might end up voting for Spike Cohen if the Republicans pull some shit and, you know, have a terrible candidate, to be honest.
I mean, I'm voting LP unless Ron Paul puts his hat in the race in the Republican primary.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Sorry about that, Steffi. Probably not going to happen. The video says I can't see it because unfortunately, Bert, the little reaction thing with the hearts does not it blocks the comments. So
Okay,
anyways,
maybe we can look at
the
it
video
during a
says
break.
the real Trump. Okay, well, so they're saying this is the real Trump. I mean, like, this is who he really is, not like this is a real interaction that they have.
Right. It's
But I mean,
just a play
again,
on words, I think.
right, but again, I mean, like, who cares? Like, this is a primary. They're going to fight it out
Mhm.
over stuff like that. It's like, you know, oh, you think anybody's like mind is going to be changed? Oh, he hugged Anthony Fauci. Oh, well, that really changes my mind. No, it's just reminding people that he was a fan of Anthony Fauci and had appointed him and was the one, you know, and was responsible for it.
Mhm.
It was on Tim Pool last night. People are freaking out over the DeSantis thing, and I'm over here like politicians going to politic. Yeah, exactly. I'm totally with you on that one. So this is why they kicked me off of that network in St. Louis, that Trump network, because I say things like these, and I do.
I know.
Yeah. Trump didn't hire without you, but he also didn't fire him. Exactly. Trump failed to fire Fauci. Trump failed to pardon Snowden, Assange, 16 political prisoners. Trump brought us Christopher Way. Trump did not hire Fauci, says the Onion Dip. He was there for 40 years. I'm not a Trump supporter. Start lying. Of course, he did. He did hire Fauci as the head of the coronavirus task force.
She was in
Fauci
government
was
for 40 years.
Yes, he was the head of the NIH, but Donald Trump gave him the job of the head of the coronavirus task force. I'm not lying, you dip, you onion dip.
Yeah, I would think you know your facts.
Yeah, dude. He hired him as the head of the coronavirus task force and put him in charge of the scamdemic that screwed us all over. Trump was in favor of lockdowns and, you know, was criticizing people for not locking us down fast enough in our homes. Right? Like there's a
Wow,
you gotta
really?
yes, absolutely.
He was as bad as my governor in Michigan.
Yeah, well, he wasn't as bad as your governor in Michigan, but he was a lockdown president. He was in favor of the lockdowns, right? So, you know, again, Trump supporters really just so the Onion Dip says, when are you going to tell your wife how much a clown you are, Austin? Her ignorance plays into that pretty well. The Onion Dip says, Stephanie, I'm a clown. I'm a clown.
I think I'm not scared of clowns.
Like, get off your knees, dude. Why can't you just stop sucking the guy's dick for 5 minutes? Like, can't you just realize that, like, he's flawed and he makes mistakes and he's responsible for a lot of the problems that we have in America today? So are almost every politician that's been in office, right? There's like 3 politicians that haven't caused us more trouble than they're worth, right? Donald Trump, you know, spent more money than Obama, deported fewer illegals, and, you know, did a lot of stupid shit. He did a lot of good shit, and that's okay. We can praise him for the good things that he does.
Yay for the good shit.
Yeah, for the good shit, and we could call him out for the dumb shit, right? But, you know, frankly, there are better candidates running for president of the United States right now. Anyways, I'm just glad that I could trigger people who are they just cannot, like.
I know we've got some hate coming in.
Well, they just because they can see that he does no wrong, right? They just cannot see that he does any wrong ever, and they will refuse to see if he does it, then it's right?
We all do wrong.
Exactly. Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody.
Exactly.
You do wrong.
Anyways, you could text the show today at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. I would probably like Donald Trump more if his supporters weren't so annoying. Anyways, it's time for us to move on. I'm so tired of talking about him. Anyways, Trump indictment, and we're done with that story. Let's move on. Choo wildfires. Did you see these videos of the wildfires that are like in Canada? And it's like,
I just saw a photo you showed me of New York City. I haven't been able to do too much research on it. I know there's over 400 something fires.
Yeah, it's like all of these fires in Canada that are like bring this smoke down to like New York City and different places. Like
I think actually, it's in Michigan too.
Michigan and like Tennessee. I think that they were saying that there's smoke in Tennessee. We haven't seen anything like that, but
my mom hasn't said anything.
Oh, really?
She sees smoke.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in Michigan.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to pull up one of the videos here real quick so you can see it, because this is I think this is this a Verrazano bridge? I'm not exactly sure. Look at that. It's all this red.
Where is it coming from in Canada? Is it like up north in Canada, or is it like down closer to Windsor?
I couldn't say.
Like closer to the border, I wonder.
I couldn't say, honestly. Look at this. Dude, I mean, the air quality there not looking so hot. I mean, I don't know. And here's the funny thing. Would wearing a mask help, I guess, is the question. You know, if in that kind of a situation.
Maybe a gas mask, yes.
A gas mask, but like would like a regular surgical mask help?
A COVID mask?
Yeah,
I feel like it would put the
fire.
smoke inside of your mask and then you'd be inhaling it, unless it's a N95. N95 is not supposed to let anything in.
Yeah, maybe an N95. Can face masks help protect you from wildfire smoke? This is from CTV News. Health Minister, this is from Canada. Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos told reporters.
He must be from Montreal.
Yeah, he was feeling the impacts of smoky air. He says that wearing N95 mask, is the recommended procedure by health authorities.
Yeah, that's what I used to be fitted for at the hospital when I would go into precaution rooms that had tuberculosis.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because just like now after COVID-19, we're also triggered by mask wearing. That it's like I can
wear a mask again.
Yeah, no, I know. It's like, but people who like right now are like, if you wear a mask, then you're a gay soy boy leftist. If there was a wildfire and we're all like sitting there struggling, we'd all be like, I think I'll take the mask. Yeah.
Well, do you know what?
Yeah.
You bought me gas masks for Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So we are set.
Yeah, we've got gas masks. We need to buy some more filters for that. Yes. We've angered the Trump supporters, Stephanie. That Trump is almost as much of an idiot as you, says the Onion Dip. I don't know what's his.
He's almost as much as
up. True Breed is mad. He says 23 watching this putz LMAO. It's actually 25.
Are you Jewish?
Yeah. Yeah. 25 watching us, by the way, on Rumble, but 35 over on YouTube and hundreds on Facebook, Apple, Fire TV, Roku, and all that kind of stuff. So a few hundred more than likely, but we'll get there. We're going to get the data and the analytics on the Apple, Fire TV, and Roku today, so we can get like things. Yeah. So we've been. Yeah, so the CEO of the company that's like hooked us up with the streaming apps on like Apple Fire TV and Roku is like gathering the analytic data, but he said that like the numbers over there since the last couple of weeks have been really good. So I'm looking forward to that because we're going to get monetized over there as well. So looking forward to it. Good morning, Katie 556 is here. He's joining us. She's joining us. She's our friend from John Burke's show. Yes. So
yesterday.
Exactly. Katie, welcome. Thanks for joining us this morning. We got a lot of angry Trump supporters fired up and mad at us in the chat because we're not blowing them every 5 minutes because we prefer to keep it real here on the Wake Up America show, and we love to hear from you. You can text us today at 573-319-1586. The cult never likes being reminded they're in a cult, says Chris Morrill. That's true.
No, that's very true.
Here in D.C., says Jacob Champion, I worked outside for a half an hour and had a headache and was dizzy. Dang.
Oh, wow. It's really affecting you.
Yeah, listen to this. And he says that his baby is having trouble, red eyes and coughing. A P100 style painting mask helped a lot. So I didn't even know there was such a thing, a P100 painting mask.
Maybe I need that for when I spray paint the Buddhas.
Is a P100 essentially like a gas mask then? I'd be curious.
Sure. The mask that I wear when I spray paint the Buddhas, I mean, that's got like some filters on it.
Yeah,
so that should be pretty good for fires, you would think.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. So I gotta actually pull up the voice message. There we go. All right, cool. Next topic. Let's move on. So this story actually just came to me this morning. This is a woman who's being chased down, screamed at by a man who's calling her a gentrifier. Because apparently she had a block party in her neighborhood where they shut down the street and he wasn't notified. So take a listen to how this man is speaking to this young lady. Take a listen to this.
Any margaritas. I don't want any tacos. What I want is I want to be considered. Where are you from?
So he says, I don't want any margaritas and I don't want any tacos because apparently she invited him to this block party.
Okay, so she's like, hey, welcoming him.
Yeah, she's like, hey, come in here.
Like, stay out.
No. She's like, hey, he lives there, right? She lives there too. And she's apparently like has just invited him for some margaritas and tacos for the block party. And he's like, I don't want any of this. I want to know why you shut down my street. So anyways, continue here.
How long you been here? Where you can just come shut my fucking street down and don't tell me you're having a party or nothing?
This is my home and I would love.
Where you from? This street ain't your home.
Yeah, it is.
Where you from?
I'm from here.
You're not from this street. I live in my great-grandmother's house. You a fucking lie. Where you really from? Now you're running. You want to talk to me? Talk to me. Where you from?
I'm trying to hang out with you.
Where you from?
If you come hang out with me.
Where you from? Tell me that. You don't want to hang out with me. You don't want to answer to my.
I live here.
Just an FYI, there is going to be some really strong language in this one. So if you've got kids around or you don't want to hear bad language, this is going to be. There's going to be a lot of bad language in this one. Go ahead.
Where were you raised? You weren't raised here. I was raised there. I know you weren't raised here. Be real with me if you really want to hang with me. Where are you from?
Arkansas.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now we can begin a basis of communication. I don't know where it'll go, but I'll calm down now.
I would like you to calm
But you didn't come like you wanted to be. See?
I came. I walked.
You came on a false premise. You're from here. I had to break you down from that. But you're really from Arkansas.
So?
Why weren't we notified you were going to shut our street down? I pay more property tax than anybody here.
right.
I can't get through here. It's a one-way, sweetie.
Then go around, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I know your fucking sentiment.
Well, he says that he pays more property tax because he's lived there longer, right? And that his family, he lives in his great-grandmother's house on this street, right? So he's upset that this woman who moved here from Arkansas has shut down the street for this block party and that he wasn't notified, which, you know, could be kind of annoying, but she invited him to the party to come and talk about it and stuff very calmly. And he's like turning on her like a fucking, like a raging animal.
Bitch. So now we can get straight to it, ho. Let's get straight to it, ho.
He's escalating.
Let's get straight to it, ho.
Yeah, he's escalating.
I don't have no parties where I block the street, ho. What you talking about? Get the fuck out my face. Document that. Substantiate a party where I block the street, ho.
That doesn't work.
Substantiate that, ho. That's why I know you on the other side.
Do not call me a hoe.
You're a fucking filthy hoe.
Not just a hoe, a filthy hoe.
Yeah.
We can help by fucking not creating a gentrification.
We can help by not creating a gentrification. Okay,
That's what this is about.
Yeah, this is he resents people coming in, moving into his neighborhood, and making it nicer. Well, that's what gentrification means. But anyways, let's continue.
This bitch come over there and told me we come to hang with you. I said, well, where you from? I'm from here. No, you're not. I lived there fucking my whole life. She from Arkansas. You came over here to patronize me, bitch. And I carry a gun everywhere I go. I haven't said nothing to you about a gun, and I've been recording the whole time since I've seen you, bitch.
Well, if a big, giant, scary dude is screaming that you're a filthy hoe and chasing you down the street, and he's got a gun on him, you know.
I mean, I think we should all just assume everyone has a gun.
You should, but anybody who's chasing you down aggressively and screaming at you and calling you a filthy hoe and screaming about gentrification and is carrying a gun, I mean, like, if I had a gun, it would probably be out and trained on that person at that point, just because they're getting so aggressive. And she's done nothing to, like, make him aggressive other than to say where she's from. Anyways, continue here.
So don't try nothing slick. And the call that I ignored, bitch, just now was the commander of this district that I've been calling. I don't need to be nice, ho. We at war. We at war, bitch.
We're at war. Okay.
You done showed me that how you came, ho. No, I ain't fucking stupid. I ain't fucking stupid.
Yeah, I know. Like, what
I ain't
you are. Yeah, you are. Here's the thing. If you talk about gentrification and you complain about it, then you are fucking stupid, because gentrification means people move into the neighborhood, improve it, rent goes up because that's called the laws of supply and demand. And then people who live there can no longer afford to pay the property taxes, perhaps, and they have to move out. But, you know, it's okay to move. You know, people move all the time, right? You can move out. Things are a little bit too expensive, perhaps. You go to a different neighborhood where you can afford things, right? That's the law of supply and demand.
I think he's being territorial. Like he said, this is like his great-grandmother's house.
He's being racist because when you use the term gentrification, that's a racially charged term. He's acting like a Karen. But gentrification is typically used by minorities to complain about white people moving in the neighborhood, which is ironic because she's like, if she's white at all, she's only half white.
Right. She looks Asian to me, honestly. But I think this really it's about generational trauma. You know, he has a lack of trust of people. He's scared of change. Maybe he's had a lot of bad things happen to him in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so he feels like he deserves to be there.
So the thing with this guy is that he is feeling, yeah, you're right. He's upset about people moving into his neighborhood that are a different color than him.
Yeah.
And
because he's worried that it's going to hurt him in the end, that they're going to make him leave. And he's probably so attached to his great-grandma's house. Like, we don't know how many people in his life he's lost.
I get it.
And so he's scared.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. He's scared. What a bitch. He's a scared bitch coming down the street with a woman who is 150 pounds lighter than he is carrying a gun.
Yeah.
He's scared.
He's scared. Instead of crying, he's bringing it out in the form of anger.
Yeah,
but he has a lot of pain inside.
Yeah, let's
fucking
continue.
Stupid, ho.
Like that,
man, look. This is my fucking neighborhood.
Actually, it's not your fucking neighborhood. You have to live in a group of people with your neighbors, and she lives there and has property rights as well, and she does pay property taxes.
He just feels that all of the struggles that have gotten him there make him deserve to be there.
Yeah, he could have just gone and had tacos and margaritas, but you know, the funny thing says Katie 556.
wants, fried chicken, Kool-Aid. He doesn't want margaritas and tacos, okay? He wants the food that his grandma used to serve him.
He wants barbecue and chitlins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, but here's the thing. So the gentrification, the funny thing is about this chick is that she probably votes Democrat. She probably she probably agrees with the concept of gentrification as a bad thing and stuff like that. And
she's probably an SJW.
Yeah, she's probably a social justice lawyer. But she's now she's reaping what she has sown. And I'm not saying, you know what, maybe she's a libertarian conservative and maybe she's a fiscal conservative and all that kind of stuff, just like us. But I highly doubt it. I really doubt it.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
don't
my
think
guess.
So.
Right. Anyways.
Right. She says she wants to help people, but then once the people she wants to help approach her in an angry manner, then she runs away.
Yeah, snarky guy. I'm trying to understand exactly what you're saying, snarky guy, over on Rumble. He says these people have obviously never been around black people or in a black hood. He says he could have let that libtard yuppie know that she was out of her lane. He says, I'm on his side, one hundo, and these crackers are ridiculous and giving us white people a bad name. That's hilarious. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. You can take whoever's side that you want.
I'm sure the neighborhood is changing quite a bit, and he's not used to this, and it's making him angry. Maybe he liked how his neighborhood used to be.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Jamie Marie Pope, she says that his struggles are no excuse. LOL, he needs to be held for observation. Not so sure about that one.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Anyways,
I think those ladies are just probably annoying him and they're obnoxious.
Well, here's the thing. They probably are. Yeah. And here's the thing. I would be a little annoyed if somebody shut down the street without, I get annoyed when people shut down the street, anywhere that I go, right? But if you live on a street and it gets shut down and you didn't have any notice or whatever, if they didn't give him any notice, sure, that would be annoying. But I don't think that's an excuse to chase her down and be call her a bitch and to say all these things about her.
Right. He doesn't know how to emotionally regulate.
Yeah, exactly. So he could, there's ways to confront people that doesn't involve chasing them down and calling them a nasty whatever or stuff like that. Anyway,
absolutely.
Yeah, let's continue.
I know.
Born and raised, grandfather.
You guys are watching.
Go ahead.
Check that hoe.
Too much water.
Check her. We want to know why the fuck they blocked the street and ain't tell us. That's what the fuck we want to know. We're just what? You want me to come block your fucking street in front of your motherfucking house?
So her face. Oh, she has no idea what to do. It's just, I would bet all the money, all the tea in China that these three women are liberal voters and that they are 100% in agree with him on economic issues. They probably vote BLM. They probably support the Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. But
I am. I called the police already, bitch. I'm waiting on them.
Gentrified tacos and margs, says John Knox. Dude, you guys are cracking me up today. The Onion Dip LMAO says LMAO struggles. What do you mean, Onion Dip? What are you saying there, brother? I know you're having fun today, getting under my skin today. You did. You got under my skin, brother. Oh no, just the Onion Dip. He said he enjoys getting under my skin and stuff like that. I enjoyed you getting under my skin as well. I enjoy conflict as well, brother. We're glad to have you here, and I appreciate your comments.
What did you say?
Oh, he's just said LMAO struggles.
Yeah, bitch. Get a fucking permit. You don't got no fucking white privilege here, Arkansas, bitch. Move your shithole, and you're gonna get cited. You ain't fucking. My elderly neighbors are calling me talking about they can't get through. So fuck y'all. Look at this hole. Yeah.
Well, let's hear it, Stephanie. Here we go. I can't wait to hear this. Stephanie starts a comment saying, in the black community. Here we go. I'm sure every black person who's listening, all one of them, are probably like, oh, this should be interesting, little white girl. Here we go.
I used to work in Detroit. I was a social worker at a hospital. So I definitely talked a lot with people in the black community. And they have a lot of respect for their elders. And so he wants to make sure that he protects his elders. And they're probably really upset right now. And so he's speaking for them.
Expand on that.
Expand on that?
Yes.
I mean, it's just in the black community, they're raised in multi-generational homes. So it's like you're pretty much raised by your grandparents in black communities.
You're raised by your grandparents. Why are you raised by your grandparents?
Because of all of the struggles that they have.
LMAO struggles. Yeah. Struggles. Hashtag struggles. Stephanie, you're being so careful.
The thing is that
so cautious.
These new people in the neighborhoods, they don't understand those struggles.
Yes.
They don't know what struggling is.
Agorizer says on YouTube, I'll have 3 gentrified tacos, please. I'll have a gentrified margarita if you wouldn't mind. Hook us up.
Want to see some white people live a day in these black people's shoes, and you would come back crying. I guarantee you.
Okay, well, why?
Because of the discrimination that they face everywhere they go. I mean, you know, people, their eyes go to them automatically, and they get scared, you know, when they're approached by black people on the street.
I wonder why. Is it because they chase white women down or half Asian women and scream and call them nasty hoe and bitch and it couldn't be because of that or anything like that, right?
Discrimination.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, Stephanie. If let's say they were in a black community and it was mostly black people, okay, and a white couple, right, chased down a black woman, all right, and called her a nasty hoe and a bitch, and we're chasing them down with a gun, a black woman with a gun. How do you think what would you think would happen to them in their lives?
Oh, absolutely. They would get in big trouble and they would be accused of discriminating, being racist.
Yeah, that's correct. They would, exactly, right? So there's only one group of people in American society that can get away with chasing a little minuscule woman down the street and screaming at her and calling her a nasty hoe, and that they think that that's okay, and that the media isn't going to be talking about that every single day on the front page.
Appropriate.
Right.
I don't think that's a good enough excuse, but I understand why he's upset.
Yes.
I think he probably needs to just work on his communication and his anger management.
Yeah. Chris Morrill says Scott Adams would watch this and smirk. Very true. Quest Fanning sent us a message. He says that my friend Tessa has a positive spin on gentrification. She calls us white folks in a Caribbean American neighborhood in Brooklyn pioneers.
Pioneers. Oh my gosh.
I like that as well. Yes, we are in a savage nation. We are pioneers in a savage nation.
Don't pioneers steal land?
No, they gentrify it.
When we came and we talked to the Native Americans, hello, we're pioneers. We're here.
No, not at all.
Gentrification, us coming into the Native American neighborhoods?
It was actually. It was gentrification.
If they were angry at us, weren't they okay to be angry at us? Didn't they have every reason?
No, absolutely not. They were savages who needed to be tamed by Western imperialism. Yes.
Some parallels here.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. Our friends over on YouTube are having fun. What's that?
We just love encroaching as white people. We just encroach on everybody's stuff.
Well, here's the thing. Like, we didn't ask to be born in this world, right? You know, some people call them colonizers. I call them winners, right? So, like, you know, if you lose a war, do you know what happens? You lose property, you lose land, and sometimes you lose your life. It wasn't as if when the colonists arrive here in the United States, it wasn't as if the Native Americans owned all of the land in North America, right? There's plenty of wide open spaces, and people who want to, if you have a child, are you encroaching if you have a child? The left believes that by having more children, you're contributing to climate change, you're encroaching, you're a colonizer, right? So here's the thing. If you have a child, are you encroaching?
I don't think so.
Well, at least according to this concept of encroachment, yeah. If you have a child, does your child have a right to go out there and try and and justly acquire land? There's a concept that libertarians have called homesteading, and that is when you take land that is not properly owned or has a right of ownership. If someone has a right of ownership over it, and if you improve that land, if you gentrify that land, perhaps, then you are a homesteader, is what that's called. And even Murray Rothbard wrote about this. Many libertarian economists have talked about this concept of homesteading. So in my mind, the colonizers largely were what we call homesteaders. They improved the land. They improved North America.
Is that subjective that they improved it?
You could say so.
Do you think certain people might enjoy the land how it is?
I don't think. It is my opinion that the land was improved, that the United States, the area before the United States, the colonies, the pre-colonial, colonial and pre-colonial times, that the arrival of the colonists here in the United States and the Mayflower was an improvement. to North America, right?
I don't think the Native Americans thought that.
Well,
I
the
think
Native
they
Americans,
liked the way they were living.
well, they could like the way they're living all the time, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's this concept called objective morality. Consider the natives of the native Aztecs and the native Mayans, right? The way that they lived, they thought was superior when they chopped people's heads off and drained the blood down their pyramids, and thought that and had their cultish religions where they committed mass genocide against their own people until finally they killed themselves and put themselves out. I think that objectively, not subjectively, you can say that the colonists, the Puritans, had a better way of life with a system of laws and justice that wasn't perfect, but was still better than what the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Native Americans had here. So yeah, you could say that that's subjective, but I think objectively you can say it is objectively immoral to commit mass murder against your own people and chop off their heads in order to create rain.
I mean, it certainly seems that way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want murder happening where I live.
Chris Morrill says Ayn Rand's take on the natives was pretty extra. I actually kind of agree with Ayn Rand's view.
Take?
Yeah, so let me see if I can pull it up actually, and I'll play it for our listeners. But she was, because she has a very pro-Israel view and stuff like that. People call the Israelites, the people who founded the nation of Israel, were they colonizers? Were they, imperialists? The Jews who founded the state of Israel at the time in Palestine?
Might say so.
Well, the truth is that they actually, it's not true that they were these.
Well, that's why Palestine and Israel, they go back and forth,
They bought
Who
that
was
land.
here first?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. Before Israel was even founded as a state, Jews went in and purchased most of the land that comprises the state of Israel. They actually bought it, like standard property rights contract, purchased that land,
right.
And then many of them homesteaded that land and improved upon that land. So that's why I don't buy into this whole idea of a two-state solution, or this idea that the Jews don't have an actual right to that land, because they purchased that land and then they homesteaded that land, and that was, to me, that is an actual, and also I know libertarians aren't going to like this, but I mean, there is a right of conquest. So, for example, if like the colonists and the Native Americans got into a war, let's say that that we don't even know who started it. Let's say, okay, maybe the Native Americans fired first, maybe the colonists fired first, right? But the fact is that it doesn't matter once you get into the war who fired first or who didn't fire first. If you're in a war is an existential conflict and a struggle, and a war is meant to be won, and the winners win the war and take the land and the possessions of the losers. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, but that's reality. Reality doesn't necessarily adhere to a traditional set of values that we may want to impose upon history. Even if, let's say I punch somebody, okay, let's say that I'm the aggressor, okay, and I go out and I punch somebody in the face completely without without any provocation at all whatsoever. I am clearly the aggressor. The person fights back and pulls out a knife and tries to kill me. Well, they may be in the right in defending themselves, but I'm not. I don't care. But here's the thing: I don't care. I'm not going to let them kill me, and I'm going to defend myself.
But in the end, you probably would go to jail because you were the one who started it.
Exactly. You might have to pay reparations.
Right. So, let's say that one country started a war with another country,
right,
and then that country won that started it. Would they have to pay reparations to the other country?
It's really tough to say.
They started it, so it's like it was their fault.
I found the Ayn Rand video about the Indians and stuff like that. So nice. It's funny. It's posted by this left-wing YouTube account where they call every right-winger a Nazi. Here it is. Hold on, let me pull this up. They call it Reich-wing watch. Reich, God's the Reich. We're all Nazis. Here's Ayn Rand. She's talking about the U.S. to the military academy of West Point, New York in 1974.
But now as to the Indians, I don't even care to discuss that kind of alleged complaints that they have against this country. I do believe, with serious scientific reasons, the worst kind of movie that you have probably seen, worst from the Indian viewpoint, as to what they did to the white men.
Oh yeah, they committed atrocities.
I do not think that they had any right to live in a country merely because they were born here and acted and lived like savages. Americans did not conquer that country. Whoever is making sounds there, I think, is hissing, that he's right, but please be consistent. You are a racist if you object to that.
False from right wingers.
She's saying the Native Americans were savages.
Yes, they said they were the savages, and that they didn't have they didn't have a right to this country, even if it was their ancestral lands, which is interesting compared. Oh yeah, you're struggling with that one. Oh, let her explain.
Because you believe that anything can be given to man by his biological birth or for biological reasons. If you're born in a magnificent country which you don't know what to do with, you believe that that's a property right. It is not. And since the Indians did not have any property rights, they didn't have the concept of property. They didn't even have a settled society. They were predominantly nomadic tribes.
They were anarchists.
Primitive.
Is that what they were?
To some extent, right? They had their own hierarchies and things, but she's saying they were predominantly nomadic tribes.
Right.
She says they were.
So they didn't own land, which is what anarchy would be, right?
No, not necessarily.
Well, anarchy would be private ownership of land.
We'll get into anarchy later. The Native Americans were nomadic tribes.
Yeah.
She said
culture, if you
they did not have property rights or a concept of property.
So they didn't have any rights to the land, and there was no reason for anyone to grant them rights which they had not conceived and were not using. It would be wrong to attack any country which does respect, or tribe for that matter, that respects individual rights. Because if they do, you are an aggressor and you're morally wrong if you attack them.
Right, we're talking about the difference. This is like why I'm enjoying playing this game Civilization lately. You see me playing it. There's like in the game Civilization, there are all these barbarian tribes.
Yep.
And these barbarian tribes, will randomly attack your culture and your civilization and will just loot and pillage and destroy your civilization. This is, the barbarians are considered to be at fault for the fall of Rome.
It's playing recently.
Yeah, and so the what Ayn Rand is saying is that if you are a primitive tribe that does not adhere to a concept of individual rights, and you attack a society that does believe in individual rights, then you are the aggressor. She says you are morally wrong if you attack them. But if a country does not protect rights, if a given tribe is the slave of its own tribal chief, why should you respect the right that they do not have? See, and that is actually, that's one of my arguments for the Civil War, and this is going to make people upset, but
we're just upsetting people all over the place.
yeah, for sure. So my argument for why, and this is where I break with many libertarians on the question of the Civil War, is that it was morally justified to not only attack the South, but since they didn't attack them initially, the South fired first, but it was morally correct. It was morally admissible for them to destroy the Confederacy because they were a slaveholding government that did not respect individual rights. Therefore, since the more barbaric and uncivilized South, which held slavery, chattel slavery, and in high regard, and seceded for the explicit purpose of maintaining chattel slavery, they fired against the civilized society that did not allow slavery, then they were in the wrong, and therefore they were conquered. And because there is a right of conquest, the South is now part of the United States. So I agree largely with what Ayn Rand is saying here, that, and that you should support a civilization against barbarism, right? If you don't have a concept of property rights and you attack a civilization that respects individual rights, you are the aggressor.
Is that like how we try to bring democracy to different countries?
It depends on the case. It depends on the case study, right? And neoconservatives who believe in that, who argue that in favor of that, many of them, as a matter of fact, Ambassador John Bolton, who I've had a debate with before, believes that he is a libertarian in that sense, that he is bringing the concept of individual rights to countries that don't have them. And you know what? To an extent, he has a point. If you're Malala Yousafzai and you are getting shot in the face by an AK-47 because you decided to go to school in the Taliban, you don't give a shit about American imperialism or anything like that. If American imperialism brings you individual rights, you're going to support that, right? I imagine that enslaved blacks of the South probably were delighted to see the imperialist North and that tyrant Abraham Lincoln bringing the armies of the North down into the South and burning Atlanta and destroying Tara and making Scarlett O'Hara cry because they held slaves. And
so is that a case for interventionism?
It depends, right? So like the problem with the neoconservative argument is that taxation being theft, right? They have no problem creating a massive government that destroys the individual rights in the country that they exist in order to for a concept of it, because men are not perfect, right? We can't impose a perfect vision of our society on others, because that's a utopian concept that we can't. It's the same thing that the communists believe, that they can impose their version of society on others. But when it came into the South, I mean, this is a culture that's largely like the United States, right? So much so that it is now the United States. And because they decided to hold chattel slaves, and because they seceded for the explicit purpose of maintaining chattel slavery, and if you disagree with me, you need to read the Articles of Secession, like Mississippi and Louisiana and others, the states that seceded from the South said explicitly that they were doing so for slavery. Well, in that case, like, if I'm a slave, I don't care what the reasons are for you coming in, and if you want to, if your reasons for freeing me as a slave are, I just wanted to keep the union together, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if you are, a nation, a slave nation, like, I don't really feel sorry for you being destroyed and decimated or subsumed into a nation if that nation respects individual rights to a larger degree than you do, and is one that freed your slaves, which it did, again.
Yeah, this is a very deep topic.
And it all started with that weird video, right?
Yeah, because I've always thought, if you came here first, then you deserve to be there, as long as you're, paying your dues. And
yeah, Camellia makes a really good point where she says that people want things to be nice and neat and black and white. No, they're not.
They're not. The world is so complicated.
Yeah, Justin is chiming in. He says the spiciness of this Friday show is high level picante. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yeah, we got to talk about our sponsor now, our friends. Give me just a moment here. Our friends over at Lear Capital are bringing this spicy level of picante for you today. I want to encourage you to just take the step today of reaching out to Lear Capital, giving them a phone call today and asking them to send you their gold and silver information packet. And I know what you're thinking. If you haven't done it yet, you're thinking, are you going to get all these high pressure sales tactics? But Steffi, it's not like that, is it?
No. They called me one time. We talked about gold. They educated me about the services they offer. And then after that, they've never called me again. They do send me emails. They do send me text messages, but I can opt out of those if I want to, but I don't want to. Because it's a reminder to me that I need to get on top of getting some gold. So it's just continuously telling me, okay, I need to look at my inventory and see how much more I can buy.
It's a great day to call Lear Capital and get more information about how to protect your portfolio in difficult times, economic times such as the ones we're living in right now. With all of the bank collapses this year and the stock market's ups and downs, now is a great time to secure your future, and your financial security is available by giving them a call at 1-800-885-2175. That's 1-800-885-2175. You can also visit LearAustin.com if you're phone averse. That's LearAustin.com. Visit LearAustin.com right now. We're going to take a very brief little commercial break. When we get back, Stephanie, it's time for us to talk about some fun stuff. Maybe we can move off of the it's fun, but it's getting people really mad and stuff like that. So let's talk about the Duggar documentary that we watched. More cult things. Oh no, this is going to get people fired up again.
Religious people a little fired up.
It is going to get the religious people fired up. Oh no, here we go. And then we're going to talk about a video of a liberal. I did play it earlier this week, but I want to get your take on it. A liberal woman who wants to find a traditional man, but not a conservative man, but a traditional man. Not a conservative, but traditional. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mom, Steffi. Liberty Law.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericashow.com. I love the wife, Stephanie Peterson, is in the house. Good to see you, Steph. Dude, getting deep. Everybody's fired up this morning.
Deep conversation.
Studio 314 dropped $5 in the tip jar. Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much.
He says, I didn't need coffee this morning. This episode got me fired up on Yes, exactly, dude. Well, so Stephanie and I immediately launched into the commercial into another discussion about whether or not.
Always talk about philosophy.
Okay, go ahead, Steph. What were you saying?
A girl who's high, who's not actually high. I just love having deep, dark conversations. Wait, my question is just, where do we draw the line with this? Because I always thought if you're here first, you deserve to be here. Mm-hmm. And so then we started talking about, okay, like for the Holocaust, for example, should we have intervened? Or in Africa, for example, where they're killing people, raping people, should we intervene? Where is it our place and where is it not our place to do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that the way World War II went down, and a lot of libertarians would probably disagree in certain ways, the way World War II went down was probably about as the best in terms of making America the least morally culpable in the sense, because just like in World War I and it happened in World War II, there were Americans who went overseas and fought, right? There were American Jews who went and joined the fight, the struggle.
All the power to you.
Right, but then again, by the time, when we got involved in the war, it was because we were attacked, right? And so there's a lot of libertarians who.
So all the power to us.
At that
sense. If it's defensive, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And at that time, point in time, going into to free the Jews is morally defensible. But it's a similar situation to the American Civil War. The North did not invade the South for the express purpose of freeing the slaves. Mm-hmm. The North invaded the South for the express purpose of maintaining the Union.
Okay.
The slaves were a secondary factor, and we know this because it wasn't until halfway through the Civil War that Abraham Lincoln actually issued the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right.
And Abraham Lincoln actually specifically stated that he would keep slavery legal for all time if the South were to stay in the Union.
Okay.
There's a lot of conservative scholars who are like, they treat Abraham Lincoln the same way Trump supporters treat Donald Trump, where it's like they paper over a lot of his
say he freed
problems.
Slaves. That's how a lot of people view Abraham Lincoln.
He did, but he only freed the states that were in rebellion, meaning that, and I think it was Maryland, but there was some slave state. I can't remember which one. Somebody correct me in the live stream here. The Emancipation Proclamation only applied to the states that were in rebellion. And therefore, there were areas that did not secede, that did have slaves, that were the Emancipation Proclamation did not apply to.
It was I did not know this.
It was very limited.
I did not read the fine print.
Exactly. It was very limited. It was very limited in terms of the Emancipation Proclamation was not very limited. The amount of territory in the United States that was slaveholding that the Emancipation Proclamation applied to was very limited. But West Virginia, the reason why West Virginia exists is it seceded from Virginia.
Okay.
Because West Virginia did not want to hold slaves. And so therefore West Virginia seceded from Virginia because Virginia seceded from the United States because Virginia wanted to maintain slavery.
Right.
And
so they're like, screw this, we're out.
West Virginia is out. So West Virginia literally exists as a state that's seceded for the express purpose of not being associated with slavery.
So they really didn't want slaves.
Yes. Isn't that an interesting point?
That is really fascinating. Say, there's so many issues going on around the world. Like, look at communist China. Why don't we go and save all of the people in the camps right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably because to some extent, we'd be killing more people to try and save them than we would save.
So cost-benefit analysis, that's part of it?
Yeah, in some sense, right? It's kind of a trolley problem, if you will, right? So I'm not exactly sure, how that would get done because the problem is that, you have to assume that like you're actually doing it for humanitarian reasons. And I mean, when has there ever been a humanitarian war? Right? Has there ever been like a truly humanitarian intervention that wasn't also self-serving to some large extent?
Right.
Right.
Every war claims to be humanitarian.
Right.
Trying to bring freedom.
Yeah, exactly. So Will Run Riot over in Rumble. Good morning, Will. He says Lincoln sucks. It's his fault the government became the monstrosity it is today. Slavery sucks before anyone even goes there. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Lincoln, definitely he like started the income tax before it became constitutional. But honestly, more than
13.
that was the constitutional income tax, but he laid an income tax that was like a wartime measure. Yes. But the Supreme Court actually overturned it. And because it was unconstitutionally laid. Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, because of that, the legislature under Woodrow Wilson's time said, okay, well, it's unconstitutional. So how do you make something constitutional? You pass a constitutional amendment. And therefore, in 1913, the income tax, the 16th Amendment, was passed. And so was the 17th Amendment, but that's something for another day.
Those loopholes.
I still hold to the idea that FDR was the one who really is responsible for the government becoming the monstrosity it is today. I don't honestly blame Abraham Lincoln.
Sucks. Go buy our shirt at apforlibertyshop.com.
Yeah, I used to be for a while. I was like a Southern sympathizer in terms of secession, but I actually changed my mind on that over the years. Like the concept of secession, to an extent, I do agree with, mostly on an individual basis. But when we're talking about governments, the problem with like a secession is that any libertarian who says, yeah, I'm in favor of secession, states should be able to secede. Well, how would they determine whether or not they wanted to secede? How would they do that?
A voting process.
Oh, so they vote? Oh, okay. So democracy.
Can everybody in the state vote?
I thought the United States wasn't a democracy. I thought this was a republic.
Yeah.
The problem is that the people who are like, there's so many idiosyncrasies with people's mindset. So the type of people who would say, yeah, I think that the United States should be allowed to secede are also going to be the first people to say, well, but the United States is not a democracy. Okay, well then, and under what processes is that state going to secede? And if democracy is the tyranny of the majority, as that person would say, if 51% of the people decide to secede, what about the 49% of people who voted not to secede, and then they live in that territory?
Would there be an electoral college that helps them do their decision making?
It's a big mess.
Did West Virginia secede? What process did they follow?
They used democracy. They voted. Yes, exactly.
So they were not a republic.
Well, here's the thing. The problem with like the whole we're not a democracy thing, it runs up into the concept that in order for us to be able to solve our disputes without coming to blows, is you have to have a vote, right? So that's one issue there. And then the problem with that, with secession in the United States, is that the Constitution of the United States says very clearly that the federal government has a mandate to preserve a Republican government in every state, meaning that if a state votes to secede, that's unconstitutional because the federal government has to ensure that in every state of the union, it is a Republican government in that state. So it's if you wanted to secede, it's a guaranteed war. Because the federal government is mandated by the Constitution to protect a Republican government in that state. Now, you could say, well, if that state has a Republican government and maintains it, then that's not in conflict with the federal union.
It's like, we'll secede and we'll maintain our government. Don't you worry.
It's still a conflict, So the thing is that most people in the United States are not able to make the kinds of distinctions between three major concepts. There is what is moral, there is what is legal, and there is what is constitutional. Not everything that is, some things can be illegal, constitutional, and moral. Things can be legal, immoral, and unconstitutional, right? So you have to judge judge a concept based on those three concepts. So is secession legal?
Is it?
No.
So you can't secede.
No, here's the thing. Secession can be legal.
Yeah.
No. Secession is never legal.
Okay, so Texas cannot secede, no matter how much they want to.
They can. They can try.
Okay.
They have to shoot it out, right? Unfortunately.
So right? You cannot vote to secede.
No.
You have to just start drawing your
guns.
They
can vote all day long to secede if they want, but the federal government will prevent them from doing so in its constitutional authority to maintain a Republican form of government in every state.
States' rights.
States don't have rights. There is no such thing as states' rights. Now, I know that I know people are listening to that and they're fired up and they're not.
Paul said we have states' rights.
No. States. I reject the concept of states' rights. States do not have rights. Only people have rights. States have
people rights.
No. States have powers. Right. And the powers that a state has are only those powers that are expressly enumerated in the Constitution. Individuals have rights. States have powers. So when people say states' rights, it's a misnomer. What they're saying is states have powers. What are the proper, legitimate, lawful, and constitutional and moral powers that those states have? Well, those are enumerated in not only the federal constitution, but the state constitutions. Those states have the powers that are listed in their constitutions and in their book of laws and their codes.
Wow, I need to go back to my Libertarian for Dummies book. I just feel like I don't understand anything anymore.
Chris Morrill says, I suspect Judge Knapp would disagree with this take. The funny thing is that Judge Knapp and I agree probably on 99% of issues. There's a few things here and there that we agree with, but he's such a mercurial character, and I know his mind almost better than
what is
better
mercurial? For those of us who do not have a large vocabulary.
Mercurial is I don't want to say it wrong, but it's the concept is that you're subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind, right? So so essentially the idea is that you are someone that is oh yeah, hey, cha-ching.
What did we
They probably didn't hear it. I don't know. Have you got your phone out? You can see right now.
We have a Trump supporter.
That's okay.
2024 Comic Gun T-shirt.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the thing about the people who get mad at me for my position on Trump. They don't understand it fully, right? Because I'm mercurial as well, right? I'm one, I can change my mind on things, and two, I sometimes like Trump, right?
I also have news.
Uh-oh.
Guess whose birthday it is?
Whose birthday is it?
Jamie Marie Pope.
Hey, happy birthday. Congratulations, Jamie. Made it around the earth one more time. Glad to have you here.
29. Congratulations.
Yep. You can send Jamie Marie Pope congratulations this morning and a happy birthday over on the stream. We'd be super grateful for that. I wonder if it was because we had our APforLibertyShop.com website up. Up on the screen right now, you can see we've got all gun laws are an infringement shirt. Here's the funny thing. A lot of people, I don't know, do we have anybody on the stream right now who actually has and uses TikTok? Is a question for you right now.
Yes. Where are our TikTokers?
Where are our TikTokers? I know that you're probably like, I don't use TikTok, but here's the deal. So TikTok has allowed us to open up our shop on TikTok and to sell our items on TikTok. And here's the thing. In order for them to kind of like facilitate sales, they are offering like a ton of free coupons for our products that they're paying for and that are wicked, like making the products wicked cheap.
So you can get the products for cheaper on TikTok Shop compared to AP for Liberty Shop?
For now. So here's the thing. So if you have been wanting some of the items from apforlibertyshop.com and you have TikTok, they have coupons right now for like 25% off, 30% off. They have like $10 gift coupons and all this stuff right now. So if
do not tell a Jewish woman about coupons.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like,
this is too tempting.
It's almost like as cheap for us, like door to the sample is what they're giving away. Like you're getting it like at cost. So if there's anything over at apforlibertyshop.com that you have been wanting for a while and you've been wanting to spend your money on and you do use TikTok, then definitely go over to AP for Liberty on TikTok and use their coupons because they're like, I'm serious, they're like giving away our stuff. And I mean, we get paid for it. It's we don't lose money. TikTok
they're
is
subsidizing us.
They're subsidizing us, right? To
just
get it up
in
there.
In a non-governmental kind of way.
Yeah, for sure. So Miss Wren says she doom scrolls TikTok, but she doesn't use it like a normal millennial or Gen Z. No, I get it.
We all doom scroll.
Yeah, exactly. So if you would like to get some of our awesome products and you want to save a lot of money on them, I mean, now is like the time. Go use up all those coupons at TikTok. My TikTok is AP for Liberty, just like everywhere else. So anyways, it's fun. So, it's $5 gift certificates, $10 gift certificates, all this stuff for all of the items. And if you're not a TikToker, we do have a coupon on the website for 15% off right now. That's if you are a new customer. So it's 15% off in the pop-up on the screen.
So only one time
use. Okay, yeah. So if you go to apforlibertyshop.com, the pop-up will ask you for your email address and then it'll email you the 15% off coupon code.
And you can get a recurring 20% off
if you are a monthly subscriber, which we will talk about. We will talk about for sure in just a few minutes. Don't want to overload them with ads. So
don't
visit us at apforlibertyshop.com. Huntasan says shilling for the Chi-Com TikTok. Chinese communists. Yeah. So, you can be a national conservative who literally says that China's society is what we should model ourselves on, and you'll get a free pass from conservatives. But if you dare make $1 off of a Chinese application or sell a Chinese-made Donald Trump toilet brush, then you're shilling for the Chinese communists.
Oh boy.
You just can't win.
I was shocked the other day. We did a webinar with TikTok and it was a very American girl who was doing the webinar.
Yeah.
I thought it would be someone in China.
I know. Wasn't that weird? But we were doing that. Exactly. Burnt Toast Space Girlfriend, brilliant name.
Hello.
Says, my brain is getting some exercise this morning. That's what we do.
Mine too. Mine too.
Yeah. The thing about the Wake Up America show is that we're kind of like deceptively big brain. We look like just like a silly, fun, neon themed, talk show in the mornings, but then all of a sudden we're talking about moral, constitutional, legal, and like Judge Napolitano, and we're talking about codes and laws and all these things, and what the views of the people of the 1860s were, and
that's right.
Vice
Looks
President.
are deceiving.
Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we get you. We get you in here. You watch the Wake Up America show, you're like, oh, this show looks fun, a little smooth, soft political talk show, and then all of a sudden it's just like, boom, we're talking about the Constitution, bitch. But sometimes we do switch to topics that are silly and fun and easy for us to digest. As a matter of fact, it is time for us to do that because Stephanie, we're running out of time.
We are.
It's time. Yeah, it's freaking 8:20 this morning, and we have not talked about the Duggars this morning. We watched the documentary "Shiny Happy People" featuring the Duggar family of Arkansas and Jim Bob Duggar and his family, 19 kids and counting fame, from TLC, ironically called the Learning Channel.
It's the Learning Channel.
Did you not know that?
Loving Care. Doesn't TLC stand for Tender Loving
They
Care?
probably changed it to that, right? But originally TLC was the Learning Channel. I kid you not.
Oh,
but then they
learned today.
But the problem is that just like with our live stream this morning, when the Onion Dip was ripping on us for having like 25 viewers or something like that over there, like, education and learning isn't always popular as like, dicks and farts and
That's right.
all that kind of stuff.
That's why reality shows have taken over.
That's why
TLC.
reality shows have taken over. It's no longer the learning channel. It's, tender loving care, if you will. So you always love reality shows. You're a reality show addict.
Teen Mom, Bachelor.
You used to watch 19 Kids and Counting. So just tell us, Stephanie, if you wouldn't mind, a little bit about kind of like your history of like what you knew about the Duggar family and how your perception of them changed over time as like more information came out about Jim Bob's son. What's his name? Josh. So give us like your background and setup on this stuff.
Yeah. So we used to watch it. I mean, it's just this husband and wife, and they have 19 kids and possibly even more. I think they had some miscarriages along the way. But yeah, I mean, they're just a really happy family. They live in one big house, and all the kids help each other out, and they're always smiling. And it was just a happy-go-lucky show to watch, and I never really thought much more about it
until
it just was almost like you're escaping into this inspirational world.
But tell us, I mean, what was it about the Duggars and their family that were so fascinating to you? Why did you and millions of people who watched them, like, what was it so compelling,
Because I don't think I'll ever have 19 children. I was fascinated by the large family that they had and how they made it work. And I mean, the husband and wife, they seem to be so in love and so happy. And usually you see marriages crumble after people have children. So it's like, how are they maintaining this? And the kids seem so well behaved.
But there was something behind the scenes going on,
Too, I'm also fascinated by it because I feel like it's like seeing the life of an Amish person. I have always been fascinated by Amish people because it's a world that I'm never going to be able to go into. I'm not Amish myself, and so they don't really let you in. Just like with the Duggars, I don't think I'd ever really be let into a family like that because I'm not Christian. I'm not fundamentalist Christian. So I don't think I'd ever have friends like that.
These are kind of these are the people similar to the kind of people that I grew up with.
Right. So you're more familiar, whereas me, I grew up in a Jewish home. So it's like, I never saw these kinds of people.
I did a lot. I mean, it wasn't quite the same level of like having 19 kids and things, but it's, Southern Baptist, right? So that was the church that I was raised in and how I sort of formulated my worldview as a young man. And so it didn't surprise me to like, see this documentary and how they live their lives. But what the documentary really highlighted was the kind of the hypocrisy because of Jim Bob Duggar's son, who what were the crimes?
Okay, so we'll get to him. So Josh, he's the oldest son, and apparently he molested two of his sisters and also I believe some other girls as well. And so that came out before the show actually ended, and then that led to the show's downfall. They tried to revive the show, but then the show ended up canceling, even after they tried to remake it into, I believe it was called like Jessa and Jill Counting On or something. It's the two sisters that were molested. So all of that drama, like I didn't really follow that too much. I more so just remembered them as the happy family. So this documentary, it was really focusing on the cult of the family. They would go to, it's called IBLP, which was led by, his name is Bill or Will Gothard. Was it Bill Gothard?
Bill Gothard, yes.
Bill Gothard. So he's like the cult leader, kind of like the guy who was the cult leader of like the polygamy communities in Utah. And so this guy, he would host all of these basically big, huge seminars and teach people about the values of IBLP, which I guess were Christian-based values. I don't really know what religion this is.
It's Baptist. It's a Baptist,
Southern
right?
Baptist.
But the documentary filmmakers, the people they interviewed, were like calling it a cult within the church, right? And saying that the IBLP was a cult because they are homeschoolers, and that was one of their biggest beefs with them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, they were really ripping on homeschoolers. They were like, they're raising these Christian homeschool children to basically take over the world and take over government. government. Apparently, that's their master plan. I was like, I never knew that we homeschool children to take over the world.
Well, here's the thing. They, in their homeschool education, they did teach them things like, evolution's a lie and like, that, but that's standard.
Oh, yes. You should see their curriculum books. They're called their wisdom books.
Yeah. And it's pretty dumbed down. But here's the thing. Like the people who were attacking them were like, they teach them not to go and get a college education and all that kind of stuff. And like to go out and to do other things, and learn skills and stuff. And it's kind of, I'm like watching that going, yeah, and then they're like, and then they make their kids slave away and all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like
they make them work for free at these like service camps,
right,
building buildings and churches.
Which is like, here's the thing, when you're a kid, you got to go out there and you got to work. And like, I would understand if you go and you work, on your house, you have to, to work for free as a kid for your family. Like if you live on a farm or something like that, it's just part of the deal. Like you got to help around the house. My mom made me polish the wood and do like, clean all of the dust and polish the wood in the house. And I had to mow the lawn and do different things like that. You raised on a farm, you're going to have to do something like that. Those are your chores. You got to do your chores.
Did you get an allowance for that?
No.
Oh, okay.
And we never got allowance.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If we went to work with my dad on the job site, he paid us.
Oh.
And
so that's not a chore. That's more like work.
It's work, right?
Yeah.
And if we had to work for it, and he paid us well, he didn't like pay us less, or and he paid us the same as he paid his other employees. So I do think it's unfair to make your kids like build houses and force them to do it and do it for free, right? You should pay your kids and things like that. I didn't agree with it, but they were like, they were trying to make it appear as if these kids are slaves and things like that. When honestly, like a lot of kids could really stand to use some hard work these days.
So really this documentary, I mean, it kind of just went between this IBLP thing and then also talking about the Duggars. So it was talking about two topics at once and trying to put them together at the same time. So it got a little tangential and confusing.
They really wanted, it wasn't the Duggars that they wanted to go after. It was this Bill Gothard character.
Right.
And he got busted for, I say sexual assault, but I mean, he stepped down. He was never like criminally convicted. So alleged assault.
He resigned.
Well, they had these women who came out and said that when they were underage that he was like, doing touching of them and things
absolutely.
like that.
Yeah. So like they had some of the IBLP victims come and talk.
Right.
And a lot of them, so Austin and I, we were kind of chuckling at this because they were more like SJW types.
The people they interviewed for the documentary were obvious,
like purple hair.
Yeah.
This one girl was like a YouTube star, and we're like, "What credentials do you have to be talking about this stuff?"
She's like she calls herself an anti-fundy watch. She's like an anti-fundamentalist YouTuber.
I never knew what anti-fundy meant before this documentary.
You didn't know what fundy was? Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
Fundy was kind of like a slur they came up with to call fundamentalists.
Yeah.
And so if you're a fundy, then you're like fundamentalist. So she runs like an anti-fundy YouTube channel. They interviewed her for the documentary, and she's this 350-pound pink-haired leftist.
I know.
And they're filming her from like the low angle, so it's like
worst angle ever.
She's just like, she looks massive, gargantuan. It's kind of, I guess she's an expert on this stuff, but I mean, like you're about as much an expert as she is because you watched the show and followed what happened to them. But
I mean, I never thought that anything bad was happening while I was watching the show. Jill Duggar, so they had one of the daughters. That was one of the daughters that was molested by her brother. Jill Duggar did appear in the documentary, and she did reveal some of this family's secrets. And she did say she was not paid at all for doing the Duggar show, which actually really shocked me because, again, all the children seemed like they were so on board with the show. They loved doing it, but that was not the case.
Yeah, and
their parents were signing contracts for them even when they were adults.
Yeah. And that was going to be the key factor that I was going to make was that's definitely wrong. Let's reset. Take a brief second to reset real quick for those who might just be tuning in. Good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. Grateful to have you here. My lovely wife is joining us for Family Friday, Stephanie Peterson. Stephanie Renee P, SRP. Check that MSRP on my SRP. So our friends over on rumble.com are joining us today. Cinnamon Creek dropping a link over to Truth Social. I have no idea. Right.
Oh, no. Does he want you to go talk
link.truthsocial.com. I think it's the Mark Levin show where they're talking about the indictment against Trump. We were talking about the indictment against Trump a little bit earlier, but on Fridays we typically move off of those topics off of the heavy topics into the second hour so that we can, just kind of lighten it up and have some fun. Yeah, we're trying to have fun. Nelson65 over on Rumble says, do you guys want 19 kids? I don't think so.
If it would be possible biologically at this point in my life, 35.
If it were, would you?
It would only be tempting because then the older kids would take care of the younger kids.
Okay, well, there you go. All right.
No, I don't think so.
It's okay.
It would mess up my body so much.
Yeah. Do you want to have one kid?
I want to have, I think, 2 maximum. One would be good enough for me.
What are you doing after the show?
I don't know.
Let's make a baby. All right.
Yeah.
If you're watching us on Rumble or on YouTube or any of the social networks, do us a favor, make sure that you click that like button. I know we get a lot of lurkers on Rumble who don't necessarily comment, but we'd love to make friends with you and meet you and make your acquaintance. So of the 35 people watching us over on Rumble, if you just click that like button, we'd love to get 35 likes. Can we get to 30 likes? That'd be great. It'd be a nice little goal. And how are we doing over on YouTube this morning? We got 36 people watching today on YouTube. And how many likes do we have? I don't know. I can't see, but do us a favor if you haven't already. Make sure you click like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be very grateful for that. Justin Peterson, my brother, also a family member, says, "Gross straight people." LOL.
Gross straight people.
Straight people being straight.
I would be really fascinated by a gay couple who has 19 children. I think that would be cool.
Well, I don't know how. Not quite sure how that would work.
I mean, they'd adopt, or no. I mean, I do have 2 friends. They're lesbians, and they biologically had their own children, but they had sperm donors.
Yes.
So each partner is a mom.
Stephanie, since it's 8:30, we're starting to get down to the wire here. Are you ready to talk about the liberal?
Do you want me? Yes, I want you.
Yeah, I know you do. Do you want me to play the video of the liberal female who wants a traditional man? Are you ready for this clip?
Do it.
Okay, let me grab this. Let me pull it up in the Twitter, or not Twitter weirdness. It's now social weirdness app scene, and we will go ahead and pull it up for our
She came from TikTok.
So this is for all
of course she came from TikTok.
one of the
She's
saddest
a woman. She wants a traditional man who's not a conservative. Take a listen.
Do you want to know one of the saddest realizations I recently had? Was that as a liberal woman, it is really hard to find a man who is willing to play the more traditional masculine role in the relationship in today's day and age, who is not a conservative. A man who wants to pay on the first date, who wants to open your door, who has that want and desire to take care of you and to provide, who is not a conservative. And obviously, as a liberal woman, I do want to be respected for my independence. And I do want to have my own autonomy in the relationship and not be confined or conform to the traditional female homemaker, childbearing role. And most of the men that I've dated who do have that more natural provider masculinity about them are normally conservative. So I don't really know what to do because I don't want to compromise my morals and values just to find a man. But am I asking to have my cake and eat it too?
Yeah. Okay. So there has been an update because there was a huge uproar about this, and everybody was talking about it, including me and John Burke yesterday and stuff like that.
That was a fun conversation yesterday.
Yes, exactly. And here is the update to this. Apparently, she after this huge, like, I won't say backlash necessarily, but just after it went viral and everybody was talking about it, she gave us an update. And here's what she said.
So this is for all the trolls that commented on my last video. Listen the fuck up. And to the thousands of you that said that I wouldn't find a progressive man who's also conservative in some way. Well, guess motherfucking what? Your girl went on a date last night with literally a guy who's conservative in some ways, but also very progressive in others. So he's progressive in ways like wanting police reform, caring about social justice issues, also feeling the need to take care of the home and help his wife cook, clean, take care of the kids. He's pro-life, he's pro-trans, and he supports the LGBTQ community.
Pro-life.
He's also conservative in ways that he likes his guns. He wants to provide financially for his girlfriend or wife. He takes that gentleman role seriously, so he's very chivalrous. So basically, he's progressive in all the social issues, yet he's very traditional in wanting to provide and take care.
Not progressive in social issues because he's pro-life. Hold on, let's continue.
Maybe she meant pro-choice. Maybe she misspoke.
She may have misspoke.
Yeah.
Make sure that
because I highly doubt that a progressive woman would accept a man who is pro-life.
She probably doesn't know what pro-life really is.
Or hold on, we got 10 more seconds, and then I'm gonna say what I want to say.
She's well taken care of, basically, and that's exactly what I've been looking for. So, hope it works out.
Okay, so here's my take on it: is that she's lying? Yay!
390 days after the original video, did she post the
Yeah.
update? She's like, oh, a day later. Hi guys, I met my husband.
It's just because she was getting trolled, like she says. My immediate reaction is that she be lying. She's lying about that.
Or I bet what happened is she posted that original video, and then men were like simping on the chat, and they were like, "Hey, come date me. I'm a conservative guy. I've got progressive values.
In which case,
let's hang out."
In which case, he's lying. He's lying, right?
Right.
He's just trying to get that date. He's telling her exactly what she wants to hear, so that he can get in bed with her. Because men sometimes men lie about that kind of stuff to get a woman into bed. You think men, just tell the truth all the time about that kind of stuff? No. Like, I'm a millionaire, baby girl, but really they're, I'm a sugar daddy, but in reality they're a salt daddy. You know how it be. You know how it be. So anyways, this chat actually nailed this down. They said kind of libertarian.
That's what
I was thinking.
Austin, I mean, you've got conservative values. You like carrying a gun. You like gay people.
Well, that's not a conservative value.
So sorry, I was going progressive. Okay.
Yeah,
you're carrying a gun.
So yeah, continue.
Yeah, you're governmentally more conservative in terms of economic policy. But then on the other side of the spectrum, you're pro-marijuana, you're pro-gay marriage. Now, in terms of the household, I think you are a little bit more traditional. Mm-hmm. You do like more of that housewife. So you might not be meeting that girl standards in particular, but you are a little bit more balanced.
Well, yeah, because to an extent, here's the thing. I'm disposable, right? So to some extent.
You're disposable?
Yes, as a man, meaning that if someone were to break into the home, whose job is it to go out there to fight and die?
Well, you say it's yours.
Yeah, that's right.
But you did teach me karate, and I do know how to use a gun.
Yeah, here's the thing, because you always want to have a plan B, and you always want to be able to defend yourself if I'm not there. Right. So I've taught you all those things, but at the end of the day, I like having a traditional conservative household and a more of a homemaker and a housewife, in large part because my life is on the line if there ever comes the worst. The worst comes, right? Who has to go and stand outside in the rain when it's pouring rain to go and solve some problem that requires a masculine feat of strength and agility that you will not be able to accomplish, right? So if my life is disposable, I really don't think that it's too much to ask for a little macaroni and cheese or some hamburger cooked into it on a Friday night, honestly.
Again, that's the agreement that you and I have. But I know before I met you, I liked that equal thing. I was Dutch on everything. I was like, the guy's gonna cook, I'm gonna cook.
You were shocked when I was just buying you dinner, and then sometimes you would buy me dinner, and it wasn't I was
almost offended when you would buy me dinner and wouldn't let me pay for things.
Yeah.
No, please, I need to.
Right.
I like to work. So that's the other thing. Sure, I'm like a traditional housewife in that I cook and I clean and I take care of the house.
Yeah.
But I also work. So it's
you don't have to. I mean,
like to have all the worlds, but no, I want to.
Right, but I don't force you to. I've told you, if you want to quit your job and I will put you on an allowance, then you can do that. You're free to do that.
Right.
But you don't. You work, and you also help me with the shop, and you do a lot of stuff with the shop. And I mean, you are the type of you really are the perfect wife.
Thank you.
Any man would kill to have a wife like Stephanie because, not only are you the traditional things in terms of you're a beauty, you're kind, you're caring, you're thoughtful, but you're also technically capable, right? You can create merchandise for the shop. You can mail out orders. You can do customer service and all these different things that I need because you're helping, that helping me to be successful, of course, helps you as well. But you truly care and are thoughtful. And all of that things. And also, you didn't grow up in a household where your mother cooked and you guys sat down to a home cooked dinner, and I did.
My mom was a stay-at-home housewife,
right?
But we mostly ate out all the time, or we ordered in, or we had TV dinners, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I didn't see the super traditional housewife roles.
But you missed out. You missed out because the bonds that my immediate family had largely grew around the dinner table. When we sat down for dinner together in the evenings, we would talk about our days.
Well, we did sit down. We just didn't have home cooked meals.
Right, but my mother would make a home cooked meal. It was a gesture and a sign of her love for us and care for us, and that's not replaceable. Right? It's not the same thing when somebody shows up with a thing full of Chinese food and makes it for you. There's something about that giving vibe where someone makes something for you themselves that is just entirely separate. There is no replacement for it. And you can't eat out every single time over your life without blowing up to 350 pounds.
Healthy.
It's not healthy. It's not a good idea. And you need to know how to cook.
Yes.
Right. I had to teach you how to do all that kind of stuff.
You had to teach me some of those housewife duties.
Yeah, because
when I moved to Missouri.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and like this may sound harsh and things like that, but like I didn't need a woman, right? And most men don't necessarily really need a woman.
Right.
I think women need a man, but I don't know that men really need a woman, other than for procreation purposes. Because the plain fact is, I knew how to cook. I knew how to clean. I knew how to pay my rent. I knew how to pay all my bills on time. I knew how to get all of my work done, work a long, hard day. And at the end of the night, like I was rather than be miserable with a woman who made my life a competition or made it more, or made it was a relationship that was more work than anything.
Right.
I didn't need that. Right. But now, because we have a relationship that's symbiotic and copacetic, like what I do is not in competition with what you do.
No.
What we do is we work together, right? Like we have like a relationship that's actually, what I do is not in conflict with what you do. What you do is not in conflict with what I do. And sometimes we switch up roles and I'll do something that you do and you do something that I do, right? But like for the most part, we stay in our lane. And I mean, you can say otherwise right here in front of everybody if you're not happy, but I mean, I think we're
happy.
I think we're extremely
happy.
Of
labor.
Yeah, it is. It's the division of labor. Plus, you love cleaning.
I do love cleaning. My mom, as a housewife, she's a big cleaner. So I did learn how to clean appropriately, at least. So Austin did not have to teach me those skills.
Yeah, it's true. Just how to cook.
But going back to that girl, so I was thinking about when I first started dating, like when I was in my high school years, just when I would have some, random dates with people. And I remember those guys did usually drive me. They did usually pay for me, but we never once talked about politics. This was back when, I was like 15, 16.
Right.
So isn't that something that back in those days, I never even said, oh, he's a conservative guy, he's a progressive guy. I was just like, he's a guy, and these are the expectations of society, is that he'll probably pick me up and he'll probably pay for the first date. That's how my family raised me to think.
Right.
But now I wonder if kids dating in high school, if they're thinking, oh, is he a conservative guy? Is he progressive? Are we going to go Dutch? Like,
well, see, the thing is, I feel bad for young men because most young women are like progressives and like pro-choice and all this kind of stuff. Right. So, and a lot of young men are eschewing dating these days. They're just not doing it. And I can understand why, because again, I can imagine there's probably a lot of women out there that are like this lady. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to have a man who buys them in the first date. They want a man who makes more money than them, and then pays for the first date and does all these kinds of things when it's just not reality. I think that, again, we talked about this for like 2 hours yesterday on John's show. Ad nauseum, exactly. That it's a lose-lose situation for most men in terms of dating and things like that. So when I found you and you were willing to have a relationship with me where you have certain roles and responsibilities that you do, and I have certain roles and responsibilities that you do, but you've mowed the lawn once.
I do like mowing the lawn, but then I broke the lawnmower, so then I stopped mowing the lawn. But I really like mowing the lawn.
Yes, but then she broke the lawnmower, and now I mow the lawn now. So
I water the plants.
You water the plants. Yes, exactly.
That's my job.
There it is.
But you do water the grass. You're the one who does the sprinkler.
Yes, yeah. And if there's any like wasp killing that needs to be done or things,
It's only because I don't have my bee suit. I used to have a bee suit, and I felt very confident. I need to buy a bee suit.
We need to get your bee suit. Didn't you? You said you bought one. Where is it?
My ex has it.
You need to get that back. You can get that bee suit back. No, you're not going to contact your ex to get your bee suit back.
Bee suit.
Oh my God, we're having too much fun on this show. Should we go another hour? I think, or something like that.
Oh,
maybe,
wow! I mean, this Delta 8's really getting you feeling good here.
I don't know. I don't think I feel anything.
You got a lot of energy.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Should we do the show? Like, what? How about this? You want to do like?
I don't have any clients today. I took the day off.
Okay. Do you want to do another half hour? Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
think, are you annoyed with us?
Do you guys
want us to leave?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like an extra half-hour bonus today?
I don't know.
Oh, we hear some boos in the audience. Okay, all right. Well, what do you think? Let's see a vote of the viewers. We can do an extra half hour today. My voice is getting pretty tired, but screw it. Who cares? You know,
I mean, we'll be able to sleep
this weekend
rest.
a little bit. Yeah. But we do need to do like a TikTok shopping channel thing. Have you heard about this? So like TikTok now for our shop, like they want you to do like a home shopping network thing. So this weekend we're actually planning on doing a live stream on TikTok where we talk about the products at apforlibertyshop.com.
Like home shopping network
like
style.
a home shopping network style. Yeah. So we're planning on doing something like that this weekend, which should be kind of fun. So people say yes. Tolly Owen says no.
She doesn't want us to stay.
Yeah. Matt Unruh dropped $5 in and says another hour. He says, all right, we'll think about it. We'll see how we're doing. Tolly says she can't stay. John Knox says another 24 hours. And Smalls 5000 says anything longer is great. I need something to help me keep entertained during work. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we'll continue. We'll keep running for an extra half an hour because we've got.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go for a little bit longer today because we're having fun. We've got more topics. We haven't hit them all today.
All these articles to prepare.
Yeah, Nelson's exactly. Nelson65 says he needs it to feed his AP addiction. I tell you what, we're gonna take
You and Rumble,
Nelson
by the way.
is very nice.
Yeah,
I really like Nelson.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna take a very brief commercial break. Ooh.
Yeah, I should probably go to the bathroom since we're gonna be here for a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, get some popcorn, stick around. We're gonna do an extra. It's a bonus of the Wake Up America show. WakeUpAmericaShow.com. We'll be right back.
Good morning to the Cantina crew. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government. Get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. The lovely Stephanie Peterson still here in studio with us.
Hello. I do feel more awake now. I do.
Yes. I don't feel anything. I think I took too little of the gummy. Should I take more?
Uh-oh.
Should I take...
It'll kick in like, what, 30 minutes?
No, I think it's supposed to be an hour.
Oh,
I think it takes like an hour for the Delta.
So it'll kick in when we get home.
Yes, make me a little bit more randy, if you will. All right, so I took this Delta 8 gummy at the beginning of the show. I took a half of one. These are like 10 milligrams, as I understand it. Okay, let's see here. So here's the other half. Wait, where's the other half?
Uh-oh, we lost it. Someone might have taken it secretly.
Hold on. These are green apple. They're really tasty. This is from our buddy John Burke's Shell Shock CBD. There's a lot of sugar on the outside of it.
Yeah.
Shell Shock CBD gummies. So these are Delta 8. So this means that they are psychoactive.
Okay.
Right. So the idea is that once I, ingest this, I should start to feel a euphoria.
You're gonna feel psycho.
Psycho. No, it's psycho in American or psycho in Japanese?
Psycho.
Anyway, so let me
psycho is like really good in Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just take a bite here.
He's really taking a bite, guys. I always like to be the observer. It's fun.
Yeah. So now, in theory, I should start to feel some euphoria. I took one of these like a couple weeks ago and was like...
Did you take the whole one, or did you take just a little bit?
Yeah, I took the whole one last
time.
Oh,
that's probably why.
That's
so
why
the dosage.
I was blasted. So,
yeah.
But one thing I'm kind of scared of, but I will try at some point, is the Delta, the Wonka bar.
Our cock is holding it right now.
The Delta bar is like crazy, the amount of CBD.
Do you have to eat the whole thing? You can just eat a little bit.
Well, here's the thing, even a little bit. Hold on, let me grab the bar here. There we go. Let's see how much is in the Delta bar, because it's like in each serving. There's 12 servings, 40 milligrams per square.
Oh.
So like 5 milligrams is kind of like, for me, okay, that's good.
Jeez,
but
40 milligrams?
40 milligrams in like each piece of chocolate, it's a lot. But you know what? A lot of people love to get effed up, man.
We'd really be having some deep conversations at that point.
They've been pretty deep so far, but
yes.
We'll recommend our friends, John's Shell Shock CBD, highly endorse and recommend. They are delicious products. And for those of you who, they do have CBD products and things like that as well that don't provide like, this sense of euphoria. I am loving, because of my back that I threw out this week, I'm loving the roll-on, roll-out CBD freeze oil. Put on a little bit of
that in our massages. I gave him a full body massage last night to make his back feel better.
You gave me a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. We're grateful to have you here. Make sure you click that like button. We are so glad to have you as a viewer today. Click that like button and subscribe to help us spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty. Man, sex, drugs. The only thing we're missing is rock and roll here on the show. Hey, we got punk rock. How's that?
Everybody loves freedom.
That's David Hasselhoff.
Is he a rock artist?
No, I would not say David Hasselhoff is a rock artist. He was a singer though, but yeah, for sure. LW78 says the intense ones hit even experienced people hard. It's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anna Marie says 40 is a lot. Yes, it is a lot. Studio 314 says your cock is holding it. Must get myself some CBD. Austin, these chems aren't working on me. He says burnt toast space girlfriend dropped $20 in the tip jar. Jesus, lady.
Oh, girl. Whoa.
Thank you. She says, here's a belated tip for that video of Austin's shapely backside in a U.S. flag shirt. Nice cake, baby. Very funny. Me chasing off the hoodlums with the my gun.
Yes.
So remember I walked by the ring video, my big giant ass is like,
Oh, your pedonkadonk.
I got junk in my trunk, baby, man. I will never forget, like, the first time that I realized that I had an ass was when I was in New York City. I think I'm actually starting to feel the chems. I was in New York City, and two of my girlfriends at the time.
Two of your
They were friends that were girls.
Oh, I was like, you had two girlfriends at the same time?
Allison was one of them. Remember I told you about Allison? Who's in the space?
She's not a...
Yeah, she was in the Space Force. And then this other girl, like she's kind of an older lady.
Right.
But I'll never forget, I was kind of like shocked. I won't say offended, but actually I think my first reaction was to feel a little offended, like I was being catcalled. Yeah. Because like one of them walked up behind me and went and growled. Like, I don't think I can do it. My voice is so tired, but it was like,
oh, like a Chewbacca growl.
Right, like that. Like,
no, see, I can't do it.
She's like, she didn't even say it to me. I think I was offended because she wasn't talking to me. She like growled at me, but she was talking to my friend Allison, and she goes, oh, he's got a butt, man. Austin's got a butt on him. Oh. And I was like so offended because I was like, how dare you treat me like a piece of meat, girl? How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? Guys like butts, but girls can like butts too.
No, girls love butts, dude. That's one thing I realized, that girls love butts. I remember walking up in the. I was first of all, like in New York City, weird stuff happens all the time. Like I told you about the time, like people like groping me and stuff in the subways, and it's not pleasant. But the one time I was walking up the subway steps and I was wearing cargo shorts like you do as a white boy.
Like real man.
In 2005 in New York City, the whole anti-cargo craze had not started yet. So I'm walking up the steps and I remember I was at like 125th Street, like Harlem. Mm-hmm. And these two Chiquitas were walking behind me, and they were like, "Oh, I want to reach out and grab his ankle and stuff like that." And there's just like,
"Oh wow!"
They're talking about me like a piece of meat. And they're talking about what a nice butt I had. I was just kind of like, I felt so objectified, so objectified.
You felt flattered. Come on.
We just got a huge super chat. Yes, from one of our friends on the live stream. He says, LW78, he says, it's been a long time fan of yours since your LP run. Just a salute and happy Friday to you both. Well, I'm glad we stuck around to do the long live stream. Dude, they're taking care of us. Yeah, thank you.
You guys are too nice.
No, we appreciate you guys. And honestly, like, we work really hard to bring you this show and to like run the shop and to like give you the best content that we can. Book guests to be on the show who, trust me, a lot of the guests that are on the show do not want to be up this early.
No.
They only do it because like they want to for me. You know what I mean? Because it's not like, if it was on Fox News, of course, anybody would be on at any time. It'd be a million people to see you, sure. Right. But when it's a smaller podcast like this and they have to get up early, they're doing it because I've asked them to politely, and I've had to use like my clout to get there, but I only have like the clout that I have because of the support of people like you.
That's right.
I don't have a famous last name. I don't come from money. I'm not like, politically connected, if you will, any more than any normal libertarian politics, which is not that much. But I just want to say that thank you very much for that financial support, because it does help us to know that we're doing the right thing in like taking this risk and working for instead of going and getting a job somewhere else. When those big donations come in like that, it just kind of makes me feel relieved, because I know we're okay. Yeah. We're going to continue to be able to do the Wake Up America show and bring you the same awesome content 5 days a week that you love. And the thing is the reality is that there isn't a show like this anywhere else.
I don't think so. Isn't. Most of the shows are either super political or super gossipy, but not really both.
And not just like the way that we craft our content, but the fact is that you can't say the things that I said about Donald Trump earlier on conservative networks. you can't say those things. You can't criticize him the way that I did and things like that and get
Right.
away with it. You get in trouble with your bosses, right?
Mhm.
And so the being able to have the free speech as a libertarian Republican and say the things that I want to say about the politicians, any politicians, and like to be able to voice the opinion that you hear, because there really aren't people out there like me who share my opinions the way that I do. Like I'm all original AP baby. And so without my own show like this, independent of a network, you wouldn't be able to hear someone who is going to be critical of Trump when he's wrong and positive on Trump when he's right. Because I mean, listen, all the time you get people in my live stream who are upset that I'm saying nice things about Donald Trump. Well,
Right.
Chris Morrill gets triggered every time I say something nice about Donald Trump. But I want to be objective and I want to talk about things from the way that I see them and give you my honest take. I couldn't do that if I was working for a conservative network.
Right. We just have to be very objective. Be like, so Donald Trump was found to have classified documents in his home in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, just very factual.
Exactly. Yeah. Studio 314 is asking, when are you going to have BX Bullet on again? Have you seen her crusade against Twitch and the maps? Yeah, we've been kind of getting our signals crossed lately because like she has kids and she's also like trying to get out of the more political stuff and do more painting and all that. So I don't know if she's going to continue to be a regular guest. I would like to have her on that, but we just need to get a schedule set up and so that the timing works for her. And I also just kind of want to make sure that she really, really wants to do it because
right. Because everyone has their own goals. And their own growth that they want to pursue, and she's really cool.
Yeah, I like Bullet BX, and
she's a great connection.
She's a good guest, and she definitely is an asset to the show. So I'll reach out to her, and thank you for the reminder. I need to do that. I don't want to sound gay or nothing, but you got a sweet ass. Very funny, says Barney Styles. That's a quote from one of my favorite like cult movies.
Sweet ass.
You haven't seen it. It's called Orgasmo.
Oh, I want to see that.
It's fun. It was funny to me in the 90s when it came out. I don't know if it would still be funny to me today. I've also seen it like 20 times.
Delta 8, it would be funny.
That's what I'm saying. Is like I probably need to be taking Delta 8, but you would like it. It is by the creators of South Park.
South Park.
So if you like South Park, and you like South Park style movies, the first movie by Trey Parker and Matt Stone that I watched, I really enjoyed. It's called Cannibal the Musical. Cannibal the Musical, very funny movie. Actually, I tell you what, since we're talking about it, might as well just pull it up. I'll see if I can find a Cannibal the Musical. Then we're going to talk about
Peta.
Pete Davidson going against Peta. Yeah, Cannibal the Musical. But Trey Parker and Matt Stone actually did a musical comedy, and now they've done like Broadway musicals, like what's the Mormon musical? I can't remember. Here we go. Here's the
Superstar. What's his name?
Not Jesus Christ Superstar, but like, anyways, here's
okay. Technicolor Dreamcoat.
No, that's a different one. Hold on. Here's the and it looks so B movie, and it is. But here's the trailer to Cannibal the Musical by Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Here.
6 men set out on a journey through the Colorado Rockies. They were looking for gold, but what they found was that they were completely lost.
My production value is so low on it, but it doesn't matter. It's funny. If you can't see it, unfortunately.
I'm Alfred Packer. This is my horse, Leanne. In the tradition of Friday the 13th, Part 2, and Oklahoma, comes the first intelligent film about cannibalism.
Gross, Packer! So let's build a snowman, we can make him our best friend. We can name him Shannon Wilson Bell. We can make him tall, or we can make him not so... I'm shatterproof!
It's like before South Park was a thing. Like you could see like the development of their comedic chops in this movie and like how they created songs and stuff like that. And it's funny to me, but again, it was back when I was in college when I watched it for the first time. So anyways, let's talk about Peta. So Pete Davidson is in trouble with Peta, and there's audio where he actually called them out. He actually called them on the phone. They recorded him where he was calling them out with expletives laden tirade. But Pete Davidson is under fire because he shopped at a pet shop for a dog that for his mother, right? So here's what they say.
Cavapoo.
Yeah, so it's they say it's tragic that Pete didn't seek out a burrow-born mutt from a city animal shelter because a scrappy New Yorker with charm and unconventional handsomeness could have been his perfect match. Davidson says he sought out a specific breed for its hypoallergenic characteristics. And he left a voicemail with Peta that really, well, of course, it's going viral. Let's take a listen to what Pete Davidson had to say after Peta called him out for shopping for a dog for his mother instead of adopting one.
Hi, my name's Pete Davidson. This message is for Daphne. Thank you so much for making comments publicly that I didn't adopt a dog. I just want to let you know I'm severely allergic to dogs. So I have to get a specific breed. I'm only not allergic to Cavapoos and those type of dogs. And my mom's dog, who was 2 years old, died a week prior, and we're all so sad. So I had to get a specific dog. So why don't you do your research before you create news stories for people, because you're a boring, tired you and suck my dick. And this message,
that would be me.
Hi, my name is Pete Davidson. This message is for Daphne.
All right, so adopt, don't shop. Now, my dog Calvin, my first dog, he was adopted.
Yep.
He was a French bulldog, yes, but I don't think he's completely purebred. And he was from a backyard rescue situation. So he was literally a rescue. But George was not a rescue. He came from a breeder, but secondhand through a person who sells for breeders.
No, rescue. It's from rescue.
It wasn't really a rescue situation. Yes, but here's the thing: like, we still had to pay for him.
Yeah.
And the French
you paid
bulldogs
for Calvin.
like $50. That you have to pay like the rescue fee, and
Right.
George is a purebred. George is an actual full French bulldog.
Well, that's what they say.
Right.
Yeah, but we adopted both of them. Like I had to fill out an adoption application through New Beginnings Dog Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
It was out of Kansas.
Right.
Overland Park, I believe.
When you say it was a rescue, I mean, like, was it really?
Yes,
okay.
They have a Facebook page, New Beginnings.
Oh, they have a Facebook page.
Oh my gosh,
okay,
yes.
there we go. They got a Facebook page, folks. There you go.
Absolutely. I mean, I really do have a sticker on my car that says to adopt.
Mm-hmm.
Because I more so do want to adopt rather than shop. I would try to adopt first.
Mhm.
And then if I really can't find what I'm looking for, then I would shop. Okay, I understand dog allergies,
Mhm.
but here's the thing. I don't know why a Cavapoo is the only hypoallergenic dog that he's able to get. I mean, I had a Bichon Frise all growing up, and that is a hypoallergenic dog. My sister's allergic to dogs. I'm allergic to dogs, even though we have dogs now that shed. But yeah, there's a lot of hypoallergenic breeds, so I don't understand why he's saying that's the only kind.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just making that up, but I don't really know
Each
much
dog
about
does
like
have
dog
different
biology.
hair, and technically they're not truly hypoallergenic. They do
Mhm.
still shed a little bit. Whatever, I get it. Now, here's the other thing. On Pet Finder, you can search for specific breeds, and you can find purebred dogs through rescues,
Mhm.
usually. It is just harder. So, I mean, I don't know if he tried.
I have no idea, to be quite honest.
They have like specifically French Bulldog rescues, for example, where you really can rescue purebred French Bulldogs.
Yeah, if you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, it's nice to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us. You can text the show at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. The show is doing a little bit of a bonus segment here today. And you can participate with the show again by texting us. If you're watching us on any of our social networks, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel that you're watching us on. We're going to take a very brief little commercial break, okay, and then we'll be back. We're having a bonus segment on the show today, so I'm just gonna go tweak a couple of things technically, and we'll be back with more on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, you know, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupamericashow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupamericashow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
George. Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1. You can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself, or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2. Most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3. You're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell! This commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. We're joined by my lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson, on Family Friday. We're doing a little bonus segment Actually, it's funny because we went a little long today.
Uh-huh.
It messed up. So we're on the Apple Fire TV and Roku.
Yeah.
So they didn't know that we were going to go long over there. So they were like, I think we were like stomping on whatever program they were like going to do afterwards. Stuff like that. So, but I fixed it. So
Are you going to keep us on?
Yeah. So what we did was, I cut the feed to Spreely.
Okay.
And then now like they can take over the feed. So yeah, so sorry about that, guys.
I had no idea that you had that type of control on Apple TV. We could do like a 24-hour marathon.
We could, yeah. They'd have to find some way to like shut us down on the back end and stuff like that. But it's like max headroom. We like take over the streams and stuff like that. But yeah, but no, we fixed it. I cut the stream to Apple Fire TV and Roku, so we're not on there anymore. So. But we are on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and a billion other places as well, so you can always watch us over there. All right, so crying. My brother sent me this message today. This is somebody who was asking for help in an anonymous help group, a group where people anonymously ask for advice is the group, right? So maybe it's fake, maybe it's real. I'm going to just work off the assumption that it's real and that it's a woman. Because they say my boyfriend cries a lot, so I'm gonna guess that.
Unless he's gay.
I'm guessing it's not a gay guy because of the context.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So here is the question. This is for men crying. The anonymous member is asking for help, saying, "My boyfriend cries a lot, and it's starting to get on my nerves. We have been together for about 8 years, and this crying thing is pretty new. He has been drinking a lot more too. Music moves him to tears. Exciting special things bring him to tears. I don't know what to do. At first, I thought that it was nice that he felt safe enough to let emotions out.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how to react. I find it irritating." Stephanie, your take?
Too much emotion. Well, crying is normal, number one. Usually when you cry, that directs you to the pain that you're feeling. So usually whenever someone cries to me in a session, I tell them that thing that you're talking about right now that's making you cry, that's probably where we need to start doing some work. We need to dig a little bit deeper. It sounds like this guy is definitely going through something, possibly new, because she said she's been with him for 8 years. This is a new development. Number two, other red flag, he's drinking. Alcohol is a depressant. It affects everybody differently. Some people, it does make them very emotional. So I'm wondering if he's actually developing an alcohol problem and he doesn't realize it and it's changing his emotions.
But the thing is that she didn't express that she was irritated by the drinking. She was irritated by the crying.
So she's irritated by the effects of the drinking.
Right.
Like a lot of people are like, my significant other has gotten really angry. And I'll be like, has anything changed? Oh, well, they're drinking a lot. Okay. So the root problem might be something else.
Are you in therapist mode right now, Stephanie?
I'm getting there, yes.
Yes, I can tell when you get into therapist mode, you really start breaking things down and analyzing
Break it down.
things. Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yes. We're talking about men crying. So here's the context of the tweet here that posted that. This is a gentleman named Sargon of Akkad. He's Carl Benjamin is his real name. Very famous online influencer guy, right-wing influencer, Western guy. He says, as a man, you must never cry in front of a woman. You can cry in private. You can cry with your best friends. You can cry with your dad, even though you ought not to, but you must never cry in front of a woman. I understand that on a gut level, like an instinctual level. I'm not a big crier or anything like that. I probably maybe cry a little bit more than an average guy. Sometimes some things move me to tears, like my aunt's funeral. Recently, there were tears, running down my face.
So, I never see guys just breaking down and sobbing.
Leave me alone.
When guys cry, it's just tears and they're pretty silent. But when a girl cries, when I cry, I'm wailing, tissues everywhere. So it's very noticeable when a girl does versus a guy.
I've ugly cried, when my mom died.
Oh,
right?
Of course.
Right, ugly cried on that. And I really can't think of any other time in my life when I actually like ugly cried like that for whatever reason. Even like Quest Fanning says that he never cries from physical pain. I don't think I've ever had like physical pain that made me cry like that, or tear up or bawl or whatever, things like that. Things just don't necessarily affect me that way. Although there are times when like certain like songs will bring up memories. And like Stephanie, you probably have seen a few times that we're like watching a movie and you see like tears like run down my face. You hear me going, all right, and I try and like hide it.
Think of the Home Alone movie.
Well,
I think you were
yeah, because of his mom.
Yeah.
When he lost his mother and his mother finds him at the very end of Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Always gets me.
When things hurt, I mean, it just happens.
But you're not supposed to cry in front of women. You're not.
Like, says who?
The problem, Stephanie, try to look at the world through the lens of the average woman rather than the above average woman like you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you understand why, on a visceral level, a gut level, why a woman might be upset, even if he wasn't drinking, why a woman might get irritated with a man who cries?
It means he's weak in her eyes, probably.
Yes.
And he can't protect her and stay strong for her and her crying.
Right. Because the world revolves around you.
Right.
And therefore, if you have to attend to his emotional needs, then it's not your emotional needs that are being attended to 24 hours a day, which is the most important thing.
That from guy clients before, where they're like, my wife talks about her feelings for hours, and then when I talk about mine for like 15 minutes, she shuts me down. It's just not fair.
Chris Morrill says, deep impact of all movies usually gets me. The gal and the father reconciling as the world ends. Everybody kind of has like a trigger for them. You know what I mean? Mine is the end of Home Alone 2 with the mother and son, recommending, like meeting and getting back together after being lost. And, even though it's like Kevin that's lost in New York, my mother is lost. So I see like, for some reason, it just on some level strikes me as like a reunion of mother and son. And therefore, I identify with that, and I think, I wonder if in heaven one day it will be like this with my mom, where there she is, at the Christmas tree, and I see her for the first time. I'm gonna cry now, right? So it's the Delta 8, it's the alcohol, it's the right. So the point is that I think men really should be able to cry in front of women. I think that it's not a good idea to. But just because I wish something was true doesn't mean it is true. And that it's probably better for most women not to cry in front of them, not to issue any kind of like that kind of an emotional tears. My wife is different. Stephanie is a person who is emotionally available and would be understanding that. Obviously, if I was doing it all the time because of some emotional thing, after a while, I'm sure that would get irritating.
If I was crying all the time, you'd probably get annoyed with me too.
Correct.
I don't think either of us should be crying all the time. That's unhealthy.
Right. But also like, in terms of like your strength, like you've cried a few times.
Oh, I've cried. Oh,
like
absolutely.
In karate.
Oh, yeah. So it's just because of the pain or pushing myself mentally. It's scary. It's scary to be aggressive as a woman.
Well, some women have no problem being aggressive, but like for you, that was a big hurdle, like to do fighting.
Yeah.
Like for you, that was a big mental challenge for you, because not only do you have to get over your fear of being attacked and being struck, but you have to actually not only overcome that and like defend yourself, but to attack. And so like one of the most interesting like things that I've watched in you over the course of our relationship is to see you go from being a completely and totally defenseless person to being a completely and totally defensive person to being a somewhat offensive person, meaning that you have gotten over your fear of being attacked to the extent that you are no longer defenseless.
Right.
You no longer you don't cuddle into, you huddle into a ball and run away screaming like you used to kind of like, run away whenever we would train. You would like go into the corner and always be running away from me, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then you reached a point in your life where you were, or in your training where you were defensive, meaning that you would not attack, but you would block.
Oh, for sure. To protect myself.
But you would only block.
Yeah.
Remember? And you would only block and you would not attack.
Yeah.
But then this has been a recent breakthrough in class, like when you're fighting Maya and like some of these other girls, like and even the guys that you go up against in karate class, you've been throwing punches.
Yeah, I mean, my back is up against the wall, basically.
Right.
Either I punch or I fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And even after falling to the ground, which I did fall to the ground multiple times when this girl was fighting me, I just got back up, and she is terrifying. I told her that.
Yeah, she is terrifying.
Yes.
But you remember when she started laughing? That when you were fighting that one time, that was because her laughter was a defense mechanism because you were freaking her out because you had started to fight back. You were being unpredictable in your attacks. You were moving all around. She's big, and she's like a 300-pound girl. She's huge.
Right.
So you were moving around her because you're faster than her, and like throwing jabs and punches and kicks, and it was awesome to watch.
That
because
was my strength, was my speed.
Your speed, right?
Whereas
you were taking advantage
she's
of
stronger.
it. Right. So, anyways, it doesn't have to be about our martial arts journey or anything
Anyway,
like that.
so back to crying. So when you were younger, did your dad teach you could cry or no?
My dad, you know what the interesting thing is? My dad was always a very manly man, but the interesting thing is that my dad never attempted to suppress our emotions. Like,
that's good.
When we were young, I think he was a little, probably a little bit, what's the word? Confused by my brother's sexuality. And so I think in the beginning he tried to kind of like suppress it because he thought, you have to raise masculine men, which, which I understand. But after like a certain point in time, and especially when mom passed away, that at that point in time, like it was, anything goes, and like anything goes within reason. But I mean, my dad has always like been, he's an emotional person.
Yeah.
Like he's okay to talk about his feelings about things. And even though he's like a very strong conservative, masculine, special forces, Corvette driving farmer guy.
Yeah.
He like gets teared up at things, like.
Yeah, I think he's teared up. Like when you were running for your campaigns.
Yeah.
I think he's teared up during those.
Yeah, he has, and like things like that. And so I honestly feel like the Peterson family has got it nailed down in terms of like the balance that you need to be a masculine man without sort of like going overboard in any one way, right? Where it's kind of like you have to train 50 hours a day in order to be a real man and meet these expectations and obligations of what we define as masculinity, where it's kind of like, you should be strong, you should be able to defend yourself, but at the end of the day, like, learn how to use a gun, right? And there's only so much time in the day to spend in the gym.
Right.
Versus responsibilities of like your work ethic and things like that. But then also like in terms of emotionality and things like that, my dad is a very sentimental guy.
He is. I mean, he's always sharing memories and pictures.
Yeah. And I'm a sentimental person, right? Like I love those memories and pictures, and I talk to you about my feelings and things, and like I do carry a lot of my stress, internalize a lot of my stress and the anxiety and things like that, right? Not just because I don't want to like appear weak in front of you, but just because like those are kinds of the burdens you have to bear as a man, and in order to sort of operate in society. And like those, unfortunately, these are the challenges that you have to face. We can't all sort of be like the emotional messes. And like, that's a luxury that women have. And, I appreciate that they get to have that, but men don't have the luxury of like the kind of emotional frivolities.
Do you wish that you did have that luxury in an ideal world?
No, not necessarily. I do think that like, in terms of like, if women didn't have men, they'd have to toughen up pretty quick. Right. So, I mean, there's like, again, I call it emotional frivolity.
Yeah.
Right. The ability to turn on your phone on TikTok and to cry, on TikTok. It's Boondock Bandit says, sure, love to cry. Good morning, Boondock Bandit. Thanks for joining us. So we are 30 minutes in, and in theory, we're supposed to end the show here.
Oh, wow.
However, I will end it. If we don't, we're going to set a goal here. In the next, we're going to do 5 more minutes.
Okay.
And if we can convince one person to become a monthly subscriber
on YouTube,
either on YouTube or on our website, here's what I'm going to do. So we're going to do for the next 5 minutes, we're going to basically do like a little marathon here.
Oh.
Where in the next 5 minutes, if we get someone to sign up as a monthly sponsor who is not a monthly sponsor already, then we will continue until 10 a.m.
Okay.
So we'll do an extra 30 minutes on top of that
Wow.
And so we're going to continue on for the next. So we got 4 minutes now. It's 9:31.
If someone running out of time.
Yeah, if someone subscribes to either the YouTube channel right now as a monthly subscriber, or becomes a subscriber at our website, the best way to subscribe is to go to wakeupAmericaShow.com // that must be the Delta 8 /support. Don't you want to see the Delta 8 kick in? /support and sign up there, because then YouTube doesn't take a cut.
Yeah.
Right. So we actually get to keep the majority of it. So I've got my my Gmail pulled up to where I can see if somebody signs up for it through wakeupAmericaShow.com /support. And also, if someone were to do it on YouTube, then the next few minutes, we will continue the show until 10 a.m. as it is. 4 more minutes till we go, and we appreciate it. Yeah. So also big happy birthday to Jamie Pope. I just got another email, somebody reminding me on the Wake Up America show. Congratulations, Jamie Pope. So we'll continue here for a few more minutes. The idea of crying though in front of a woman though, like I do feel bad for men who like would lose the respect of a woman for crying for something absolutely ordinary, right? Because I do think that there are women out there, and I've seen videos of them talking about how like they lose respect for a man if he cries, and so yeah, I do feel bad for those men and things like that. I mean, I'm very lucky to be in the fortunate situation where I have a family that is of strong men who are also emotionally available, and that's very rare. It's very rare. So and to have the opportunity to be able to express myself as I wish is a luxury that a lot of men don't have.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the men I've known in my past. Like my dad, I saw him cry, I think once, and it was like when his aunt died. But yeah, he didn't really cry. In terms of guys in my life that I've known, I don't think I think I saw a boy cry in school once. But yeah, no, I don't think I've really seen many guys cry.
No, it's it's not something you see very often. I mean, when you're kids, it's one thing, but it's a complete other thing to cry in front of like your wife or in front of like in public or things like that. It's just it's kind of a taboo, if you will. I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, other than it's not as if it's a good idea for us to do it, but
I think if it's excessive and if they're crying about like every little thing, things that really shouldn't make you emotional, then that is a red flag. So to that girl online, yeah, she probably needs to say to him, hey, is there something really bothering you?
Yeah.
Just talk about it, maybe.
Yep. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586 is the text line. We'd love to hear from you on your thoughts on this. Somebody said, hey, AP, thanks for the extra half hour. It's great. You're so welcome, brother. We appreciate you.
Welcome.
You're absolutely welcome. We're going to go for another 1 minute. Doesn't look like we got a subscriber a month. Oh, guess what? We just did.
We did?
Yes, we did.
Oh, my gosh. On
congratulations.
Where did they subscribe?
Through Wake Up America Show.
Oh, wow. They must have got their credit card out really fast.
They had to, right? Because they only had a few minutes to do it. So we all owe Andy Maidment a big round of applause. Guess what?
Yay.
An extra 30 minutes it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. We appreciate that very much. Any tips that you guys can drop for us helps us out so very much, and we are grateful for that. All right. You know what we didn't do? We didn't talk about So I have this other story. Did you read the one about ChatGPT?
Yes.
May know more than your doctor about smoking.
Right. It gives you better advice than your actual doctor does. Yeah. I did read that one.
So take a listen to this. So Dr. ChatGPT will see you now, and you might like it better than your human doctor. God, human doctors are getting worse and worse these days. Recent studies have suggested that many people find chatbot programs like ChatGPT more caring and empathetic than human doctors. Now, maybe this is already a tangent, but like, isn't this something that in the therapy world that like the therapists are starting to worry about, Stephanie? Can you talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, I know that on Snapchat, they now have an AI that you can talk to. And so I know some people are using that to talk about their issues. And I mean, people are using ChatGPT. Some people use Siri to just have a companion and talk about things with. I mean, myself, when I type in therapy types of things onto ChatGPT, it's very thorough, very informative, more so than YouTube videos that I watch from therapists.
Yeah, for sure. We also owe a debt of gratitude to our friend Dash this morning, who just joined the Freedom Ninja Club.
So we got 2 people.
I got two subscribers.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate that. It's been a super successful stream this morning so far.
It has.
Yeah, and my voice
cool.
is paying for it, but so are you. So thank you very much. We appreciate that very much for you guys becoming cheaper than coffee, says Dash. That's very true. That's very true. Appreciate that. Thanks for becoming a monthly subscriber.
Coffee is like what, $3 to $5 now.
Exactly. So the Wake Up America show will continue this morning until 10 a.m. In which case I think my voice will run out. But we're talking right now about how ChatGPT is changing people's views of doctors because they find that the ChatGPT is actually more empathetic than doctors. Dude, you and I, we've had some doctors that you can just tell they do not give a rip. They don't care about you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about an experience I had recently where my doctor just started talking about himself and didn't even talk about my medical stuff. So it's like sometimes you just want them to stay on topic. Like, don't talk about the vacations you've been on. Let's talk about my health and what that means. So ChatGPT stays on topic.
Nomad John says the timing is the magic. He says, I'll subscribe if you push back the timing. Not exactly what you mean by it.
Oh, you mean make it later in the day?
I'm not sure.
That's probably what they mean.
Explain what you mean, sir.
Maybe like they can't watch during the hours that we have it. So
we did have somebody texting in to the show at one point saying that they want us to like go longer. And it's like 2 hour long. It's one thing like I used to when I was on radio.
It used to be 3,
but that was just radio,
right?
And I don't have to produce anything. Like once you add video elements, and all that live guests. And here's the thing: I had John as a producer for me. I don't have any of that now. So 2 hours, it's a lot of work. So I would stay an extra hour if I had a whole team. If I had a producer, if I had all that kind of stuff. But right now, we're working towards that. So we lost our employee like a month ago. Stephanie had to step in and has been like doing all of the stuff. I mean, not all, but a lot of the stuff that the employee did. You were even coming in the mornings and helping me set up the show. And so you helped me set up this morning on the Wake Up America.
Aspiring roadie. What can I say? I always wanted to work for the Warped Tour.
Tell them about that. Tell them Tell them your roadie fantasy, Stephanie, and how it's played out with our marriage.
I started going to the Warped Tour back in 2003 when I was a teenager, and I really admired that lifestyle. I wanted to ride on band buses. I wanted to be behind the scenes, talking to the musicians. I just thought it was so cool. And when I was at Michigan State University, my sister and I, we did this volunteer thing where we were able to be behind the scenes doing security for Plain White Tees. And that was like such a wonderful moment because I actually got to tell people to back away from the band, but I was allowed. So, it's so gratifying. So anyway, so then during your campaign, I mean, I felt like I was like behind the scenes when I got to go to the campaign headquarters. It's just so fun. Again, I like to be in the background. I like to be stage crew. I don't like to be in the spotlight so much. I like you to be in the spotlight more.
But here's the thing, like now we're married and now you kind of like get to live that out, right?
I know.
And like kind of explain how that has worked, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, whenever you go to any of your events, I usually get to tag along if I'm free and I get to sit in the office and have all the perks, the snacks, everything, help you set up, give you words of encouragement. Like I got the easy job here. I don't think roadie work is hard at all. I think it's fun, like setting up lights and stuff. It's not rocket science.
Yep. We owe a debt of gratitude to Matt Unruh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he dropped in the tip jar. Thank you, Matt. He says he ran a church live stream once. That was hard enough. Yes, that's true.
Oh, yeah. It is.
And we owe Nomad John a pat on the back. He said, thanks for the extended Friday show. Thank you, Nomad John. We appreciate you guys. All of the extra tips and super chats and subscriptions today have really made it worth it. And we are definitely going to take a reserved rest this weekend, but we appreciate you. And of course, we couldn't do it without you guys on the Wake Up America show. So very grateful. So you can see Matt Unruh, he's already a monthly sponsor because he's got the little gun next to his profile on YouTube. If you become a monthly subscriber on YouTube, then you get like those little perks. But here's the thing. Andy Maidment, who became a subscriber this morning,
Yeah.
and everybody who is a subscriber, anybody who's a monthly subscriber at all, gets a 20% discount.
We gotta send him the super secret code.
So Andy, I'm going to send you an email after the show's over with your code, so you can get a 20% discount off the AP for
Does
Liberty
he get a
shop.
free keychain?
He is not on that, not at that level.
Okay.
If you become a $20 a month subscriber, then we send you a free keychain from the shop. So that's where we go. We have like levels of supports. So when you go to wakeupamericaShow.com/support, you can see there's like $5 level, $17.76 level, $20 level, and if they become a $20 level sponsor, then we send them the keychain. But everybody gets 20% off the shop. So basically, take advantage of that if you are a monthly subscriber.
That's worth it.
But Matt Unruh has the flintlock pistol next to his name, which is the highest level for now that anyone has achieved.
Whoa!
But there are 2 levels higher.
Oh.
And nobody has achieved them just yet because the program hasn't been around just yet.
Okay.
So the next level is going to be founding father level. So Matt Unruh and I think like 1 or 2 other people have the guns next to their profile. Yeah, Dash, you get 20% off too. By the way, just FYI.
Yeah, Dash subscribed.
He subscribed. Dash, hit me up with a DM on Twitter if you wouldn't mind, and I'll send you your code, your secret code, for your 20% discount off today. Okay. What was I saying? So 1 year. Oh, the Delta 8's kicking in. I'm forgetful. So after
you have to be really aware.
So after
of
1 year, the Delta 8 is definitely kicking in.
Yeah. So you've got 2 more tiers. So next is the Founding Fathers.
And when you hit the Founding Father level on YouTube, that's when George Washington is by your name. So you literally are like George Washington level Founding Father.
OG.
But here's the thing. There's 1 more tier above that, and it's the most difficult tier to achieve, and it won't even be possible to achieve for another I think another year and a half.
What?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's so amazing. It's an incredible tier level.
So you have to be a member for a year and a half?
No, you have to be a member for 2 years.
Oh man.
A subscriber for 2 years. Because here's the thing. And it could be just $2.99 a month.
Okay.
But here's the thing. So Founding Father level is 1 year, which Matt Unruh will achieve I think 6 or 5 months from now or something like that.
Yeah.
But
like in November, December.
Yeah, he becomes like George Washington, right? But the 2-year period, you become, well, it's like that quote from Oppenheimer, that movie we're going to see, where he says, "I am become death, destroyer of worlds," from the Bhagavad Gita, which is the nuclear weapon. So
you're going to be the atomic bomb.
Yeah, you are the bomb.com. So if you are a monthly subscriber on YouTube for 2 years running, then you get the recreational nuclear weapon next to your name. So there really isn't anything. There's nothing higher than that.
Wow.
But it's tough because I know people they cancel subscriptions and do things like that. But it would be fun if year and a half from now we see somebody who gets the nuclear weapon. I wonder who it'll be. If it'll be anybody. If it'll be like Sarah Palacios or Anna Marie or
it'll be somebody in
Matt
the Cantina crew.
Unruh,
That's
somebody in the
for
Cantina
sure.
crew. Yeah. Speaking of the Cantina crew, Steph, do you want to remind them about the event, the trip coming up?
Yes. So we are having a Cantina crew float trip. The trip itself is at Bass River Resort on August 12th, 2023. We're going to meet at the resort at 10 a.m. and float at 11 a.m. But that whole weekend, so the night of August 11th and the night of August 12th, we're going to have dinners as well. I will put the Facebook group in the chat. We have a Facebook event group telling you all of the details. You have to reserve a canoe, kayak, raft, and then just meet us there on August 12th at 10 o'clock. And then
we've already got some people have fun. We've already had some RSVPs, right?
Yes, we definitely have. I know Camellia is definitely coming. Let's see who else. Let me go to the Facebook group actually, so I can give you some up-to-date information. Okay, so far it says 28 people are going or interested. Yeah. So Robbie Theramon's coming. David Martin is coming. Tim Jacobs. I'm not sure who he is. I guess we'll definitely meet him. I don't think I've ever met him in person before.
Well, that's why we're getting to have the get together for the Cantina crew, for supporters of the Wake Up America show to join us at the Cantina crew trip. We need to name it.
Oh, I just called it the Cantina Crew Float Trip. Can anybody come up with a better name?
If anybody can come up with a better name, let us know.
I would be happy to do that.
There we go. You can
to share it.
You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. Boy, I know it. My voice is getting tired. 573-319-1586. Actually, I got an interesting DM on Twitter.
Oh, someone slid into your DMs.
Yeah, about when we were talking about the Duggar family earlier.
Oh, yes.
He actually, this gentleman actually had an experience with IBLP.
Wow, we need to have him on.
Yeah, well, listen to this.
He's so cool.
He sent us this message. He says,
Yeah.
I attended several of the IBLP seminars as a teen back in the 80s. I might have too. I don't remember.
Wow.
He says, our family was heavily involved in the homeschooling program for a few years.
Okay.
Our family was famously known for being the most conservative family in our church and circle of friends. Yet, we were always being called out for being rebellious or secular when among the IBLP crowd.
Wow.
You're not a real libertarian, right? You're not a real You're not a real Southern Baptist. Here we go.
It was all AIT, ALIT. That it was something else. He has
Advanced
acronyms.
Institute of Learning. Yeah, it's all this stuff.
Gothard loves acronyms.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So here's what he continued to say. He says that I'm not going to say we didn't gain anything from the experience or the seminars. We actually did. Probably the biggest takeaway for our family was the whole idea of living debt free. He says that single principle probably changed the course of our family history. But there was an internal conflict at all times. I remember walking out of one of the seminars when I was 15 years old and telling my parents they had just told me I was responsible for conjuring demons because I played drums in church.
Yep.
What do you mean? Oh, yep.
Documentary. They were talking about different things that are demons. Cabbage Patch Dolls. Remember?
Yes.
Cabbage Patch Dolls have the mark of Satan or something on them because they're signs on their butt.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a lot of what we're seeing today, where every single thing on the internet is now satanic, and it's it's like, okay, well, not everything is satanic. If playing drums in church is satanic, then sign me up for the first Church of Satan in that one. That's going to get me busted in trouble one day, but. Do you remember during my Senate campaign when people were claiming that I was a Satan worshiper? Do you remember this?
Yes, because you took a photo with a statue at Neil's house, right?
No. I didn't. I said I should just to troll them.
Okay.
But no. It was because I liked the Church of Satan on Facebook.
Okay.
I when you like something on Facebook, doesn't mean that you like it. It just means that you follow it. Right, to see what they have to say.
Yeah.
So they use that as a thing. Austin Peterson, Satan, and when you're not a churchgoer already, then they assume that you worship Satan and stuff. It's I don't believe in Satan. It's really hard to worship something you don't believe in. So
yeah. So I guess follow equals like. So don't follow something unless you like it.
You know what's funny is the conversations you and I have been having lately is all of these questions you've had about the Bible. So this is a hilarious story. So we were at Dairy Queen a week and a half ago. And Stephanie and I are walking out, and somebody had written a Bible verse on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the Bible verse was, but she goes...
It's from Phil, 3:2 or something. It was definitely...
It's Phil 3:2. And she goes, and she's a Stephanie, being Jewish, right, doesn't know the Bible all that well. And she goes, it was written, she goes, oh, that's a nice quote. She's like,
the quote.
I read the quote, and you said it was written by Phil. And I was like, Phil? And because I'm saying a Bible quote, Phil, I go, you mean Philippians? And she's like, oh, yeah, Philippians. Yeah, Phil. No, it wasn't a book of the Bible written by Phil. But you and I, because of that and because of the Duggar family, you've been kind of learning a lot about Jesus the last couple of weeks. I've been kind of explaining to you the Christian story of Jesus and the kind of explaining the history and the background of the New Testament. Sometimes I teach you about the Old Testament, right, which is the Jewish.
Because honestly, I'm Jewish, but I'm not a very good Jew.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because you have been really fascinated by the story of the Bible, and you've been thinking about reading it.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be curious, not so much to become a believer, but just to read all these things that people are talking about. Because I mean, people cite Bible verses everywhere. You see them saying John 3, whatever, or, all the different Corinthians. And I'm just like, what is that? What is that? So it's like, I'm just wanting to know what's behind all of this.
Nomad John had a quick question. He says, is the event open to anybody or only subscribers? It's open to anybody.
Anybody. Yeah, anybody who wants to come. It's in Steelville, Missouri at Bass River Resort. So as long as you can get there, it's about an hour and a half from St. Louis. You could, like, fly in or you could drive.
Yeah, so it's deep in the heart of the Ozarks, so it does take a little bit to get there. We understand. Barney Styles says the Cabbage Patch Dolls do summon demons. That's science. Yes, that's true. Ron and
Cabbage Patch Dolls.
That's how you get the demon inside you. Yeah, for sure. But no, like the fundamental, like it's interesting how like you know, I grew up in the church and was raised around people who were like IBLP. They weren't quite that hardcore.
Yeah.
Like they weren't like homeschoolers or anything like that in my church, I would say. But like, you know, I read the Bible 6 times, so I know it backwards and forwards and like the story of Jesus. And it, you know, I left the church when I was 18 years old, but like the thing, I think it's so important to know the Bible.
Yeah.
I think it's important to read the Bible and to study it and to understand it, because that in that way you can know that it is the backbone of Western literature. So like how many times have like you had to be like, oh, there's a reference there, and I'm kind of like, this is the Bible, you know, to understand like the biblical text is to be able to kind of speak the language of the English language. Like the Bible is in the language, you know, it's
I mean, movies are based off of it. You know, like there was a Noah's Ark movie with Steve Carell. You know, it's like if I hadn't read the Bible, I wouldn't really know what that whole movie is about. I'd just be like, oh, cool, animals are going on a boat.
Right. And so like I told you about the story of Jesus and how he, you know, he died for our sins, and how he was a teacher for 3 years, and how he was a carpenter. And I told you the story about how like he was allegedly naughty by like running away, but when his mom found him,
he was at church.
He was at church. She was like, do you not know that I would be in my Father's house? Is what Jesus said. He's like, you know, come on, Mom. Like, I'm the Son of God here. Like, you know,
I'm just chilling with
I'm just hanging out with my dad in church, right? And stuff like that. And, you know, then there was the whole discussion about like, you know, what was Mary doing in terms of like.
I was curious about who Jesus's dad was. I mean, I didn't realize that Joseph acted as his father, but wasn't really his father. I was like,
we need to get Joseph a shirt that says, I'm not the stepdad. I'm just the dad that stepped up, you know?
Good one.
I'm not the dad, or I'm the dad who stepped up, or something like that for Joseph. So, but yeah, the story of Jesus is a fascinating one. And, you know, he healed the sick. He, you know, he had miracles. He walked on water.
Right. You're telling me about those.
Yes. He walked on water. He healed the sick. He brought Lazarus back from the dead.
Right.
And I think there was one other person that he brought back from the dead.
The question I asked you was, okay, so after he brought the guy back, did he just keep living? Is he still alive?
He was dead and rotting. And so I guess the best theory is that he was not like a zombie walking around. That my guess is that not only did Jesus revive him, but he must have also restored him, because, you know, it would be kind of odd to see a dude walking around like brains, you know, all that kind of stuff.
I just wonder if Lazarus re-died after he died.
Well, yes, he did eventually die. So, but Jesus wasn't there because Jesus was crucified.
Right.
And one of the more interesting stories of the crucifixion that I always really liked as a young man was the one about the thief, because there were 2 thieves who were being murdered along with Jesus, because Jesus was murdered, honestly, by the government, FYI. But there were 2 thieves who were being murdered alongside Jesus. And one of them was like saying, if you truly were the Son of God, why don't you just use your powers to get yourself off of this cross?
Right.
And Jesus responded that that's a vulgar display of power. And there was the other thief on the other side of him that stated, and this story is kind of like disputed in some like Christian areas, but like we were taught that this was canon, that this other thief who was on the cross spoke to Jesus and says, don't listen to him, Lord. Like, I believe you. He's like, and he asked Jesus for a favor and said, you know, will you please remember me when you are in heaven? And so Jesus said, because of your faith, I swear to you that today you will sit, you know, beside me when I am in my Father's house later today.
So he like protected the other people using his powers.
So Jesus saved the soul of the sinner, of the thief who was next to him, who believed in him, that he was the Son of God. and it's an I guess an allegory. It's a story to confirm that for fundamentalists, for Christians and Protestants, that the only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ.
Right.
And so
right. That's you kind of miss out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're going to hell. But the and all Jews are going to hell if they don't accept Jesus Christ.
Except for
the 144,000 in the end times.
Yeah.
Who shall be converted and shall become warriors in the fight against Satan and his Lucifer and his minions in the end times, the Revelation. So if the end times come like in your lifetime, and they ask you to believe in Jesus or whatever, they'll cut your head off. Just say you believe in Jesus, and then you'll be one of the 144,000, and then you can. Or it might have to be Israeli Jews, because like there's a lot of dispute about that. There's a lot of non-canon biblical stuff that like the Christians will like tout as like canon and things like that. So you got to be careful, because when you talk about Revelation, a lot of it's open to interpretation, because it's like, you know, a woman, like a harlot riding on like a dragon that is pregnant and gives birth. There's dragons in the Bible, and like
if a dragon appeared in the sky and the sky opened up, I would be like, I believe whatever you are right here.
Yes,
I will bow down to you. Like if I saw it, heck yeah. I'd be like, I'm game.
So the idea that like of the story is to remind those people that you know, through Christ alone is the path to salvation, because he was the savior. It's just that the Jews are like, no, he's
Let's go to the deli.
Let's have a little. Let's go to the deli and talk about that. For sure. Maybe we'll be a Jews for Jesus. Stephanie, you can hear the music. We'll kvetch about it. Yes. Yeah. All right. It's time for us to go. God, we really had a great time today, didn't we?
We go
on December. Yes. We got new subscribers today. Super exciting. If you're a subscriber, don't forget you get 20% off the shop. Make sure to use that code that I'll send to you. Dash, make sure you hit me up on Twitter in the DMs. I'll send you the code. I sent Andy his code. Visit apforlibertyshop.com. Get some awesome freedom merch. Stephanie and I work very hard to build and create the absolute best in Liberty merchandise for you guys. Yeah, show them your shoes. She's got the ladies' USA flags.
Tan in these shoes.
Yeah, and they've got the American flag on them. There you go. You can see the...
Like a contortionist.
There you go. Nice, Stephanie.
Oh, boy. And I've got my Smoking George necklace.
Smoking George coin necklace, where George is smoking a substance of unknown origin. Thanks to LW78, Matt Unruh, Quest Fanning, John Rail, Dash, Barney Styles, Corey C., Representative of the Republic, M60, the lovely Stephanie Peterson, who's joining us here today, Nomad John for joining us, all of our friends over on Rumble. A lot of new names, all of our friends who joined us over on Rumble as well, Nelson65, Boondock Bandit, Huntasan, Katie556, Bell R, Will Run Riot, and Cinnamon Creek, as well as the Onion Dip and Blue Reich. Nice to see you all here today. We appreciate you guys. All right, now's your chance. Go to apforlibertyshop.com. Go get you some awesome, sweet merch. I know it's payday for some of y'all out there. Spend a little bit of money for liberty. We'll see you, we'll see you on Monday. Thanks, Stephanie. Love you. Give her another round of applause. See you on Monday on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.